And I was actually wanting to chime in on that. And from everything I've heard, Creality has actually really upped their game. Like they're making something decent again.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got some, well, like I said last week, they've got some really dope Christmas deals. Like
Yeah, the one I just got a couple days ago, it's like 450-ish, and I mean it's big,
yeah,
which
I've
is good.
heard. What I've heard is that the K2 is a very solid combo.
Yeah, I heard that too.
It's
And
got
then
like all the stuff. It's got the box. It's got the multi-filament. It's like kind of
yeah,
what you need to do all the modern stuff. But they've got
now there was a really good Flash Forge that I was looking at. Unfortunately, they decided that they don't like guns, so and that they were saying don't use their printers for guns. So I decided to just not use their printers.
right.
But
That's a
there
choice.
was a quad. There was a one that printed four materials at once. Like it had its own little system to do all that. And I figured I'll just wait like a year or two. And there's like a chroma kit that you can get that'll let you print some insane number, like up to 20 different colors or 20 different filaments
Nice.
through the
Really?
same head. So and it works with Clipper, this, that, and the other. So I can just wait.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Then Steve got himself a Kitty printer, QIDI. So, what's the first thing you do with a new printer? I'm sure, as everybody might know, you start printing out all the parts to make your printer functional.
No,
Cable chains,
I
that
don't
kind
have
of
to do
stuff.
that.
I was gonna say, you got one that's more or less like pretty well built in.
It is pretty
Awesome.
nice to have all the parts. No, I agree with you. The first time you get the printer going, like most of those cheap, shitty ones, it's like, well, it's together. But if I
It could be
don't
better.
want to have to intercede here, like right now, I should probably upgrade this stuff.
Yeah, little details like cable chains, stable feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Filament guides, filament cleaners, all the little details.
Oh, and speaking of guides, just as a real
Ventilation,
quick
better
note for
ventilation
anyone
stacks.
that isn't familiar with the best guide to 3D printing, I'll throw it as the very first link at the top. You can find the best guide ever at controlpew.com. So that'll be the first link there for anyone. That will definitely get you started. Allow you to dial in your prints with.
Isn't that the guy that was like the furry?
No. Very different guy.
Yeah, quite.
I get so confused because Evan knows so many furries.
I do? I guess I don't
Apparently.
keep track. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, didn't you have a question regarding 3D printing?
Well, yeah, I was just saying, like, so what's the stuff you've gone to print with, or gone on to print rather than all the parts to make your printer functional?
So a lot of my printer was used to make the various parts for the other printer that I was prototyping, right? Which is ironic.
Right, for your project.
Yeah, I've done some articulating dragons and stuff like that, but I print like, for instance, I got so I'm doing the living room. I'm almost done with it. It's just tough because mudding. You got to mud. I just finished mudding the third coat tonight. But you got to mud, and then you got to wait some period of time for it to dry. Typically, 4 to 6 hours for the mix. I mix stuff. If it's pre-mix, it's 24 hours.
Right.
So you're really not doing 2 coats in a day, as much as I keep hoping for. And then I only have so much muscle strength to sand it in between coats, which is a whole separate.
You doing the auto leveling stuff?
The what?
If you're doing the self leveling mix?
No, that wouldn't be applicable for drywall.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That would be applicable for floors, but not
right,
for...
Right, I missed the drywall part.
Yeah. So not.
I was like, you're doing the floor now.
No. I will probably, like, I gotta go jack this floor up and balance it, and it'll probably be. Right. But even then, it's always a tough balance between like self-leveling floor compound and like feathering compound.
Yeah.
So both of them have their purposes.
Last year, so I've acquainted myself a bit more than I was before with that.
Yeah. So, in any case, I'll give you an example of a part that I printed here. Um, it's very difficult to do drywall because there's a lot of dust.
That's a fact.
And we've done it. We've done it with, I throw on a respirator, and my wife and I just sand with the two of us in respirators, and we've tried, sealing off the room with plastic, but I have a dog that doesn't really like being separate from us, and obviously we can't let him in to the room while we're doing it, so he usually rips the plastic down, and then dust gets all over everything and everything else. So I'm always looking, every time I do a home improvement project, I'm always looking for ways to make it better. What tools could I buy that makes it less painful? And this time, somebody recommended I go to Harbor Freight and pick up. They've got a cyclone separator kit, and so you can do that. And I sat there and I originally attached that to my handheld orbital, but the orbital sander I got does 8,000 RPM, which is just way too fast. And I tried numerous times to get this to work the way I wanted it to, and it just refused to do, and I didn't want to go through the hassle, so I actually bought a real sander. But I still had this cyclone separator thing. So the cyclone separator connects to a 5-gallon bucket, and then you just have your shop vac or whatever, and it prevents your clogging of the shop vac every single time you're using all this fine particulate dust shit. And it on top of that, it also sits there and just kind of sorts itself out. But a cyclone separator sucks in some ways, in that for those who don't know how these things work, the way it works is the inlet comes in on the side of the cyclone shape, and the outlet is at the top. And so the premise is that heavier, denser stuff comes out of the inlet, and it hits the side walls of the container.
Yeah, it kind of falls out, as it were.
And it slows down, and so it's no longer in the airstream, and it falls out and drops out the bottom. Meanwhile, if you take the air and you suck it out of the top, while it's getting sucked out of the top, it turns around and while it's getting sucked out of the top, that's just air. So the particulates slow down and fall down below, out at the bottom part of the cyclone separator. Air comes out the top. Well, the problem with this grand scheme of things is that if I'm using it to filter, as I was the dust that I had in my drywall job, it's really awkward to try to sand the walls with this thing set up coming out the top, because now the vacuum hose is oriented directly upwards instead of, in a functional orientation, and so it's got to curve up, and then it goes down to the vacuum. And even if you've got enough space, it's just not optimal, right? That's the best way to put it. Is it's just not optimal. So I ended up printing a 90-degree adapter that allowed me to turn my hose 90 degrees, and then on top of that, I also bought a backpack for a 5-gallon bucket, so I can go sit there and strap this thing in, and I've got my little tool that does the sanding, because the 8,000 RPM was too fast. This one does 800, and it's Beaver, which is awesome. I love Beaver. Real cheap tool. Their argument is good tools half price, and that is pretty accurate. I think they're like what Harbor Freight used to buy for, just sold direct without the Harbor Freight cost. So they're actually cheaper. But yeah, it's fantastic. So I printed a 90-degree adapter, and that's been one of the greatest things that I did. Did a couple iterations with it, but it just plugs into my vacuum cleaner. So my vacuum cleaner hose is not going up and then over. It's just going straight out to its orientation. I got it so that it pivots and rotates. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, you got the O-rings and everything?
Well,
No,
I just threw into staff chat one of the more important things you can get that'll unfortunately cut down on Irwin's major profits of new clamp sales. It seems to be the only way you can get the grips for them.
Sure. I'll throw that in the links for anybody if for some reason you have some Irwin quick clamps, and you need some.
Yeah,
Ads reprinted.
standard clamp you find in the garage. You know, the 1 foot gap one, not some crazy one, just the standard bargain bin, Home Depot, Lowe's, Irwin clamps. And the damn grips just come right off, so you end up losing them. Took like 7 minutes to print, so my dad pinged me. He's like, you know, hey, can you print one of these? It's like, all right, see if someone has a file out there. Otherwise, you know, where are your calipers?
To be honest, I just use Onshape, and Onshape is it's a parametric CAD program, and I prefer parametric.
It's like Inventor.
I don't know. I haven't used Inventor, but yeah, it's a parametric CAD program. It's great. It does what I want it to do. I really can't ask any more of it than what it has.
And it's free.
And it's free. Yeah, and it's free. And on top of that,
that's the thing I was pointing out. Someone already solved the problem.
Oh yeah. Like so that's the thing is
7 minutes later, I have one, and so I sent a picture to my dad, and he's like, "Already?" He's like, well, "Yeah."
Yeah, it's like a lot of these things exist in files. I've done. I tend to print a lot of. I've done for some of my little projects, my Raspberry Pis. I printed a few Pi cases.
Yeah.
Those I tend to do. I need to. Although I have it saved somewhere. How to like make my own cloud server off of Pi, and I plan on doing that. That's on my.
That sounds like a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
So there's also those there's little all-in-ones, like Intel all-in-ones that you can do. You can put like 4 sticks of NVMe in there and run it as like a the hell is it called? So Linus Tech Tips did a decent video on, you know, like de-googling and all this, that, and the other, and they had like of one of their videos was on one of those little all-in-ones that you can just jam a bunch of solid state drives into, and then back up your pictures from your phone. So like Google Cloud, but you know, without the whole invasive annoyance.
You know, on a similar.
And then
there's something we've got to
Louis
talk
Rossman
about.
has like the ultimate fucking guide to hardening up and privating just about every cloud service by replacement.
I'm not even like ignoring the like security or stuff like that, because again, my attitude every time you guys will do one of those, let's talk about how to be more secure, I'm like, you are the worst security breach that you face. But like realistically, Google Drive was originally supposed to constantly be an increasing amount of storage space once you signed up. And then they stopped that and capped it out at 15 gigs. And 15 gigs is like it's a decent amount of space, but it's like nothing. Like I've got photos that are like a gig of space, especially with the size of cameras and stuff like that. So like having a cloud service or my own cloud service that kind of takes care of that is really, really great. Like, and I've got to get around to it. That's going to be this winter's project.
My QNAP NAS. Now, whenever I get it back online, it'll be a different story, I'm sure, because everything's probably way the fuck out of date. But my QNAP, I can run as a cloud service. Basically, I can run it almost effectively like Dropbox. So on LAN, it's 100% like Dropbox, and then through cloud, it's a little more fiddling I have to do with it, but I can still run it effectively like Dropbox through cloud, through open internet.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people using a lot of cloud services in the near future, which
the
does
3,
kind of
2, 1
segue
rule.
into the point I was trying to make a moment ago, and that's out of Micron. There's been a bit of an announcement regarding
I was talking
computing.
about that earlier.
Yeah,
so Jeff over at
what's the announcement?
Well, Micron will be removing themselves. Not removing themselves. They're just going to close down, kind of sunset their consumer side business.
No, so that's the thing is, so Jeff was clear about this one. They were vague on purpose. They're killing the Crucial brand. for now. They didn't say that they're getting rid of the consumer stuff. They said they're getting rid of Crucial for now. And because they're business partners with NVIDIA, they're the memory supplier, that explains why NVIDIA basically told their business partners, produce your own memory. Here's the boards, you guys figure it out. Which it kind of spooked everyone, and it kind of made the announcement inevitable for Micron. But Micron is one of the three major suppliers, one of the three major vendors that are building out fabs here, and if they're not going to supply, if they're going to provide for us. If they're not providing for us, we can always, write your Congress critter and say, okay, make it conditional that they provide for our fucking market, our consumer grade market, because this, just dumping in tons of cash into AI and letting them royally fuck the entire domestic market for consumer grade stuff, and that includes, by the way, corporate scale. All those business laptops that corporate entities use, those are effectively rented for 2 years, and the cost on that is going to go up too. So it's not just the little guy getting fucked by this; it's everyone outside of AI.
Yeah, it's like a gas going up.
They can go and say, look, play fair for the customers who are paying for your tax break that was provided in the CHIPS bill, or be subject to something like antitrust, not antitrust, anti-monopoly.
No, it's an antitrust lawsuit.
Antitrust, yeah, sorry, it's antitrust. Like, it can say, like, fix the market or be subject to being crushed by the same people you're getting the tax breaks from. Because, what I cannot wait for is, if this is a giant bubble that's already forming, the data centers that are being... Yes, the data... Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
The data centers are... It's not even the services that they're providing. The construction of all those data centers. All of those jobs are eventually going to go if there's always more stuff to construct. But all of the computer build out they're doing, all of the actual server racks they're putting in, that is going to saturate quickly, like in the next couple of years probably, unless we really double down on the energy redistribution, where they're going to run into a hard limit on how many servers they can pack into an area where they're willing to sell them electricity. So once that happens,
yeah, and people are already starting to get a little bit upset about what this is doing to electric rates too.
Well, those chips are going to be fixed costs that they're going to try and stretch out over time. They're not going to want to upgrade to a new set of RAM for their cloud instance every year. No matter how much Micron would love that to happen. So what's going to happen is Micron's going to have a whole bunch of really expensive... People like NVIDIA and AMD were going to be crushed by this. All the RAM chips that are going to be available, all the GPUs that are going to be available without buyers, all of a sudden, that market is going to collapse, and I cannot fucking wait for it to happen. And I hope everyone who's riding high on the shares right now for places like Micron and NVIDIA, I hope you guys keep buying in, because the ramp on the way down is going to be stupendous to watch. Like popcorn, everybody get ready, get around the bonfire and hold your marshmallows over the stock market.
I mean, the whole stock market has not done well. At least I haven't done well in the stock market. I was for a while, and then I forgot to update my stops, which is a huge mistake.
Yeah, you would definitely want to do that in 'tis the season.
My brother typically was back when I remember him and I talking about trades. He usually run Iron Condor and just have that shit set out ahead of time without having to wait on it.
Well, so I did, right? And the problem that you have is I've got to do a whole bunch of analysis on all the data that of my trades. The strategy that I have is actually great at finding things that go fucking bonkers. Right. But things that go fucking bonkers are just not as common as things that go straight into the fucking dumpster.
Let's say bonkers is up and down.
Yeah. So I'll have I'll have 2/3 of the trades that I choose to take will collapse right after I take them. But the 1/3 was going like crazy. And then I had these two. Yeah, well, that tends to be actually where I'm
real
trading.
Okay.
It tends to be like close to most of the stuff I'm doing is somewhere in the, no, I don't want to call it penny stocks, but it's like dollar stocks. It's not.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not like the
$20,
$100 stocks.
No. Because I
Not
really
trading
want
Google
those
shares.
big gains. But like I had back in October, I went from, if you turned around, starting this year, I looked at it at like 3,200 down, and I got upwards of 8,400 since May. That's pretty fucking good. That's a great ROI. And then it all collapsed, like 100% collapsed. Had I moved my stops up, I would have been fine, but I did not move my stops up. And so
Oh, shit happens.
I ate shit. Yep. So now I'm sitting at like 3,600, and part of that, like, to be fair, the whole market has collapsed, right? Like, and I use that not as a, yeah, there's been a definite correction. And so like you don't make money during a correction. The best you can do is lose less. And that's the best you can hope to do.
There's people who will take those puts and those shorts. Shorts are probably not going to do quite as well as a put if there's going to be a correction.
Well, see, the problem with so the thing with puts is that you need
I'm just completely ignorant here, which is possible.
So when you talk about options are a giant gambling risk. So
yes, they are.
And way more so than stocks. Way more so than stocks. It is, even if I bought a stock and I bought it high and it collapsed within a certain period of time, in theory, it will probably hit that same price within a year. Right? Like, if whatever caused it to jump, it'll still probably hit that in the same point in time. In the case of an option, I have to pay for that option, right? Like, I have to just basically take that. Now, the upside is an options contract is I don't have to put all of the money down, so I have to pay less upfront. If I had a high win rate, or even like the bonkers stuff, an option could actually be really, really good. I got to do, like I said, my market analysis stuff. Right. But the challenge that you have with options is that because you always are paying that premium.
Yep.
Like, you're never not paying the premium.
Cost.
It is a sunk cost.
Just a quick note, by the way, fellas. I don't know if you're aware, but just a few days ago, Polymarket is back.
Did Polymarket go down?
Oh, yeah, 2022. They got banned-ish.
From here?
Yeah, in the U.S.
You're saying they're back in the U.S.?
Yeah, they're back on the market. You can,
in theory, as a totally real, not American, declare that you're an American again.
Yeah, the CTFC banned them in 2022 for operating as an unregistered derivatives exchange.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, the way they're running speculation on it, and because they have created their own ecosystem, their own chain, and their own coins, all of it, I think it's fair to call that a derivative, like, pretty exclusively. Like, if it was not being controlled by them in that way, you could probably make a better argument that, as a coin, etc. Like, it's not strictly speaking a derivative, but they own it, so it's a derivative.
I really struggle with I really struggle with gambling. Right? Not like I personally struggle with gambling, but I really struggle with stuff like Polymarket, because I don't think that we should be. I do not agree when people are like, "Well, the stock market's like gambling." I actually think that's wrong, right?
Kind of,
yes
but
and
not
no.
really.
Like, exactly. It's
right.
You're speculating on the future value of the company. So that you're speculating on the output of a random game. Right.
Exactly. And so
there's
like
an information thing there.
Even when we turn around and we take a look at like what I just said, right? I gained a fuck ton of money and then I basically lost it all, right? I can turn around and say, had I not fucked up in terms of how I actually executed my trade, I would have been way positive for the year. Like,
in lawyer speak, that's the if not for and but for kind of thing.
Yeah. If I had not screwed up, I would be way ahead. Way ahead. So like I think that like I sat there, my account was going up so fast and so far, I didn't want to like risk a sudden turn down because I thought that I'd stumbled upon the fucking gold, right? Like I had this thing, it's a well developed strategy. I spent a lot of time working on it, so I made a mistake, but that's not gambling. Gambling is like you don't know the outcome, you have no control of the outcome, which I technically kind of do.
Like,
But I also
say,
have
a
no
presidential
way
election.
to. I have no way to strategically. It's one thing when you can control your risk. It's another thing when you can't control your risk. And like a lot of these like Kalshi, Kalshi is a good
ugly stuff there.
Kalshi, Poly Market. A lot of these things. These are straight up gambling.
Yeah.
Like this is not a strategy thing. There's no way to sit there and control mitigate your losses or predict your successes. Like they're useful because they're a really good way to sit there and see what people are actually putting money on, and that's like from a market perspective, they're absolutely useful to see like what is somebody investing in, because that's really where people think the probabilities are, not what polls say or something else. But
right,
I really struggle with the morality of something that is completely and totally not a.
now
It's
to
not
be fair,
a.
to your point, and to be fair, a lot of people, including myself, and if I remember right, the both of you, were saying if a pollster calls up, I'm going to tell him I'm voting for Biden, and I'm fucking not. Like I think that was. I mean, as a meme, it was pretty fucking funny, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people also did that. And then if you look at Poly Market, it's like, oh, Trump's winning.
Yeah, funny how
the thing is, when it comes down to money, like when money is on the line, like people are much more. Money is fundamentally honest. It's fundamentally
much more rational about
that is true.
The money on.
Right.
Oh, on that note,
So,
guys, I've got some great news for you. I don't know if you're familiar with Klarna. If you've done any online purchases, you've probably seen it right under there. Pay in however many months with however many payments at this amount. That's that amount, for a nominal fee, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, they've launched a new service for all the people that are, going ahead and getting their burrito on 4 easy payments. They've got, these services. What is it called? The Premium and Max. For the Premium, it's $19.99 a month. The Max is $44.99. And
see, I'll take advantage of Affirm on Amazon because it's a zero interest payment. Like that's just reasonable to put that out there. Like, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pay, every 2 weeks, pay in a fourth of it. Fine, but I don't have to pay any interest. Also fine. The moment it says you have to pay money to spend your money, I'm gonna tell them to fuck off. But it's always available effectively, like for anything like greater than, I don't know, what was it, like $80 or whatever. They'll say, for people who don't have a history of not paying Amazon, I guess, it's like, hey, sure, here's money. All right.
As I'm reading through this, I can't find a damn thing about any of it. It's like, oh, here it is. It offers, the one apparently offers $3,000 in value, but tells me nothing at all. And then the other one offers $5,000 in value. And all I'm getting here is that you have access to some sort of airport lounge.
So the things I know about Klarna are, it has, I don't think there's any interest-free thing like Affirm.
Oh, it is most certainly not interest-free.
Klarna, no, it's interest-free. So typically the way it works is it's interest-free.
There's a fee.
However, there's a small fee, but it's typically interest-free, and then they make all of their money on you missing your payments.
Right. So the second thing I was going to say is, and it makes Caleb Hammer go fucking insane.
Oh, I'm sure. It's it's like a payday lender almost. I mean, it's really not far from a payday lender, in my personal estimation.
a friend of mine who's a little more to the left. It just has Caleb Hammer as a guilty pleasure.
I really struggle with a lot of these modern financial products or quote unquote products. I don't have an issue with interest. I do think I understand why the Jews are hated. In all seriousness, and I'm not even joking, I understand why the Jews are hated. Because the concept of interest is very, very hard, and the Jews have like an average of 150 in IQ. The average for Americans is like 100, and the average for like everybody else is somewhere around 70.
Now, push the point of history there because it's interesting. In brief, the few jobs that Jews were allowed to have in Europe, one of them was loan shark, which was basically the asshole half of banking is being a loan shark. So Shylock the loan shark from Shakespeare fame, that was a historical commentary in art on one of the few jobs Jews were allowed to have in Europe at the time, like officially allowed to have anyway.
So I understand why Jews are hated, because I think the concept of interest is something that requires a certain level of intelligence to understand.
Oh, and Orthodox Jews getting those special loans, you still pay the same amount. There's nothing like interest-free about it. You're still fucking paying.
Right. So like the point is I do understand why that was a problem. That being said, like being able to get something now and pay later is a huge advantage on major capital investments, things like houses, cars. Right? When you consider a house,
running a factory,
buy this thing on a 30-year friggin' mortgage, and it's over the long run, you're going to have a relatively stable monthly payment as compared with an apartment, right?
And it makes better business sense on the loaning side, because
it makes
that
better
stable monthly payment is going to bring you in that little bit extra. As long as you have that capital investment to start off to get out loans, you're pulling in more than zero ROI every single month.
And ultimately, like from a consumer perspective, I don't think it's inherently bad to loan money. I see people be like, well, that means that at the end of the time of my loan, I'll have paid X amount more, which is usually a lot, right? Like, I think on a 30-year mortgage, you've paid double for the house. But if you consider not buying the house and existing solely in that rental market for that period of time, you're going to be paying maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, depending on what you're looking at, and you will have zero equity.
The layer above that is that you get to deduct part or whole your payment from taxes. Like it is that you would otherwise be paying if you paid everything off.
Well,
so your overall tax burden or your overall expense burden per month is lowered, on an annualized basis or monthly basis.
That's one aspect. But really, the more important thing is that you build equity as you own one, which means that in the future, even though if I turn around and let's say I saved 12% by paying for an apartment complex, that apartment complex will increase in price by 5% per year. My mortgage generally won't. And so at the end of 20 years, at the end of the 30 years, I will have whatever the market value for the house is, which is usually going to go up by 7% per year. So I'll have comfortably beaten the average apartment owner by well more than the 2 or 3% gains that I have for owning the property. So I have no problem with stuff like that. Even stuff like auto loans, right? Your car.
Yeah, go ahead.
A car is a fantastic investment. People are going to sit there and bitch and complain about their car payment, just like they're going to bitch and complain about any payment. But realistically, a car, if you consider that a car enables you to work in locations, the amount take your entire salary, and that's what that $200 a month car loan or the $200 a month loan on your car gives you. Now, granted, you have to pay for insurance, so maybe it's $300, maybe it's $500 or $600 total a month. But assuming that you're able to pay back the loan, which most people can,
this is going to hit differently for people who are living in a big city. But for the rest of the world, this is how it works.
For the rest of the world, it's Whoa.
Rest of the world, car equals getting paid. Period.
Yeah.
Aside from the street corner outside.
Like we don't think about it like that because it's usually like 2 or 3 layers removed from that, and it's just the thing that we bitch about. But the reality is, it's how you make money. It is the best tool for Americans to make money.
Now, in a parallel, I was talking with my buddy about this. A different financial thing came up. We were talking, then we shifted conversation. Like the idea of keeping cash in your bank account, which is very useful, mind you, very very useful to have like liquid capital on hand. You'll find it's extremely difficult to find any kind of savings account that will ever beat the rate of inflation. So while it sits there, it becomes worth less. Even if it looks like the number's going up, it's not going up as fast as the dollar value is dropping. So like your typical savings account's going to be like, what, 0.25% per year if it's nice. Your high yield savings, or the high yield savings accounts, those are going to be, the ones you can put money in, but it's difficult to get it back out. Those are going to cap out at maybe 2% if you're lucky. And 2% is the Fed's target rate and the Department of Treasury's target rate for inflation per year, because they expect that the overall market, the GDP, is going to increase at about a rate of 2% per year, so that the economic unit per monetary unit, the value per dollar, should stay around the same, ideally. It doesn't. We can see that very clearly. It doesn't. Biden was a perfect example of that. That was, that became more than like a 1% deviation, 2% deviation, when it went up to like 15%. It's like, oh, that's 13% higher than the Fed said it should be. So sometimes it goes radically higher, but typically you're not going to find a way to get savings that's going to give you a interest rate that is greater than your loss due to inflation. But if you put it into a different asset, like say stock index that's doing really well, high performing, and this is where we were originally talking, me and my friend, the people are looking at maybe putting together an index that tracks all the Congress critters, and they have to disclose quarterly or within a certain number of days of a trade, which means there's always a lag. You're not going to get the 15 to 30% that they get every year. But if you get like 10% per year, you're beating inflation by a fuck ton.
Now,
but that involves using monetary instruments like stocks.
Now, just a real quick on that, you can actually get on the Pelosi tracker and pretty much beat the market all the time.
But again, that's got a lag to it. That was the thing that was the discrepancy my friend and I were talking about. Like, there's a lag period for the disclosure, but if you're on the ball with the disclosure, you're still going to beat market by a lot.
Oh yeah.
Like if you beat every other index every year, all the time, then you're doing something that nobody else is able to do. And in their case, it's literally the direction of business interests in this country, and then get a 30-day at least lead on everyone.
Handy that.
So people like MTG and her fucking scummy ass. Like, I'm glad she's getting kicked out.
Why? She's not getting kicked out. She's leaving.
She, I think that people are figuring out that she loves illegal immigration. She loves illegal aliens. She has a bunch of construction businesses.
You don't say.
Yeah, she was all pissed off that everybody's getting angry about the illegal aliens. Fuck her.
Well, I haven't actually seen much of her
she
comments
was barking
on that
about that.
So, on the illegals, you say?
Well, she wasn't specific about illegals, but it was because her businesses were being affected. It's like, bitch, we know. Fucking, you can say there are positive things about 90s Republicans. That aspect of them, not so positive. Really glad there's this turnaround with Trump saying we need to get him out of here.
Well, to be fair,
that was one of the things got Clinton involved in the 90s. To get him into president was getting our border secure. It's weird how time is, history rhymes. It doesn't necessarily repeat, but it does fucking rhyme.
Well, I don't know if it's quite as rhymey as before. Now, I will Granted, I will say that she's made a lot of money. That her rhetoric would maybe not support her making as much as she has, but I just expect people to be a little corrupt when they get into DC politics, because
Crenshaw. That was a good one.
Well, I'll say this
I'm there for you, and you're not my constituent. Fuck you.
Crenshaw he's something. I've often said about Dan Crenshaw that he has one eye that sees only truth and one eye that sees only lies, and unfortunately he lost one of them. I'm not going to go any further in explaining which. But yeah, with that said, there's rather a bit more going on we should maybe talk about. But since we're talking about fees and fines and all this other cool fun stuff, we should probably talk about the Real ID update. Yeah, since people aren't getting them, they're going ahead and updating the charges. Like, come on, get the fucking thing, guys. We're gonna keep fucking with you if you don't. So in that regard, they have gone ahead and are going to be imposing a $45 fee for all air travelers traveling without real IDs or valid passport, just as a by the by.
Okay, I was going to say, they better fucking include a couple other forms of ID.
Just those two. Real upset. Just those two.
Well, hold on. Let's back off there. Technically, the reason that the passport is included is the passport adopted Real ID at a point that, like, way before Real ID became a thing for everybody else's license. So the if you've had I can't remember what it is, 10 years for a passport. So if you've had your passport updated, Real ID, I think they started rolling it out like 5 to 7 years ago.
Well, they're more than that. I had to get mine renewed like right before the conference I did in Cancun in 2017. And they had it back then, and then there was something before that. But basically, they had it in before the original deadline. Mm-hmm. So, like 2016, they already had it.
They did, because the licenses, your license didn't have to have it until like this year, and so like when I went to the airport,
like 3 different updates too.
Mine's 2015, and it's expired because I don't give a fuck. I'm not doing any traveling. But it was, I think this was the first year that they did them that way.
That makes sense.
Because this one's got the RFID thing or whatever it is.
The original deadline was like 2016, when everyone was supposed to have Real ID in every state. And then they decided, fuck that noise. Hillary Clinton bitched about the bill she put into effect, and somehow that automatically gave everyone like another 5 years, and then COVID.
Yeah, it's been a thing for a while, right?
Yeah, since what was it, like 2008 or whatever? I think.
I can't remember exactly when.
It must have been earlier than that, because I think they gave him 10 years.
Ultimately, it doesn't really matter. Like,
right.
The key is that for the Real ID stuff, like passports, it's not that you have to have a Real ID or a passport. It's that you have to have Real ID, or you get paid $45, because the passport.
I was going to say back to the $45.
The passport is a Real ID that was required and implemented. Now, there's actually there are advantages to Real ID. It's
just proving that you live there is kind of like there were some common sense, very basic things that Real ID introduced that you can see are being taken advantage of today in places that love illegal aliens, because they just hand out the fucking ID, and it's like, do you even have residence? Do you pay a bill here? Can you prove you were born somewhere in the United States, or do you have papers that say you're here? Very minimum shit that we should have for any fucking ID now that we have like a digital economy. Like, we can check this shit. It's like, if we can check it, why shouldn't we?
Well, and there are ways to do this without the Real ID too, but they are quite insistent.
Again, I believe the whole basic freedom of travel thing, sure, but since you're already here in the country and you live here and you're supposed to be here, like this is like a street stop by a cop. This is like you getting an ID to use for just about everything else in your life. You should know that you're supposed to be here and you are who you say you are.
Well,
I mean,
there's
I get
plenty
like
of ways
privacy
outside
concerns,
of a
but
real
come on.
ID, but, you know.
I mean, I think the problem that you have, right, like, I can't remember what the, I think it's 5 years here in New York. You have to get renew your license every 5 years.
Uh-huh.
But like, I think the big mistake, and I know there's other places, like I think Arizona, when I dated a girl from Arizona, you had the license pretty much for life. Right? Like, that was pretty, it was like either 20 years or something like that.
So my dad's old license had a whole fuck ton of stickers on the back of it when I was growing up. And he showed me one time, how thick the sticker layer was. I said, "Why?" If I asked him, like, "Why do you have the blue sticker on the back of your license?" He said, "Because the way they do the renewals at the time was you just go ahead and send in a form, in like a $10 fee or whatever. They mail you the sticker that says your license is got a different expiration date because nothing's changed."
Yep.
It's like I understand how convenient that is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But
like at the same time, like it's actually like when I renewed my license, was it last year or whatever. And they had some law they introduced in Florida where like two of your numbers, or 2 or 4, whatever the fuck it is, some of the numbers in your license number have to be random now. So that they basically gets rid of the whole idea where you can go through and systematically do identity theft, which I get. I appreciate that. I mean, it's kind of annoying that my ID number has changed for places where I've been using it, but at the same time, I'd have to show a new picture of my ID anyway if I was going to update stuff, so may as well just update the whole thing. But it's like that. I mean, so I got a different ID number, this, that, and the other. It's like, okay, that makes sense for a new card. If it had been the same number, which it had been for different, previous expirations.
Well, I mean, like, personally, I'm a big fan of regularly redoing your license, not just reapplying and getting stuff out there. Like, I think most states, if you turned around and said, hey, every 5 years, you have to go in and redo your driving test and get certified as whatever and all that stuff, I think that'd be fine.
So the other thing I noticed when I looked at my dad's ID when I was much younger was because he just had a mustache in his ID picture, and it was like 10 or 20 years, no, just like 20 years old. He had a beard at the time. He looks nothing like his damn ID.
I'm a big fan of like relicensing. I think in most states, a reasonable period would be something like, I don't know, once every 5 years, maybe once every 10 years. In a state like Florida, maybe once every year.
Well, parts of Florida, I agree. Boca Raton, get the fuck off the road.
Yeah.
The 2 knuckles and a hat on the wheel, right? Just get the fuck off the road.
So is that not having to have insurance still a thing in Florida?
So you've got to have insurance to drive in Florida, and if you don't, then you lose your license. And you get a big fucking fine. Your car gets towed or whatever. It's not good. And actually, I know someone who just got rear-ended by a non-English speaker in California, and I was joking with someone else about it, and I said it was a bit of a morbid joke at the time. It's like, because the guy was apparently not speaking English, and I guess was speaking Spanish. It's like, at least it wasn't speaking Hindi or Pashto.
Yeah, there's actually something I want to mention.
The traffic accident could have been a whole lot worse.
Could have.
But I also was saying, like, the whole call the cops kind of thing. It's like, you don't want to get into a fucking argument with these people because they'll fucking shoot or they'll stab. They'll call their friends, and it's like, just call the cops immediately. Have them, try to show up and get a report. Get that shit over with.
Or say
California sucks.
Or say God is great in translated from the language they actually say it in.
California is a shithole, man. Like,
Oh, but we'd just
disgusting how bad
mentioned
it's fallen.
Dan Crenshaw, and we should probably, because I mean, this is a great segue.
Oh, shitholes? Okay.
Be- well, anyway, yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Well, no. That's accurate.
Let me tell you how I really feel, man.
You heard how I feel about the guy. But
Well, give me a few hours.
right. Anyway, though, speaking of shitty peoples, this actually is well, I guess it's in reference to him and the people he's responsible for. So, from a excuse me, from a note here, let me see what's the date on this one. Goodness, this is during the Biden era. You just can't seem to get the date here. Goodness. Well, I'll just read some of the highlighted parts, and anybody that wants to can just read over this. This was when they were, trying to get all those poor Afghan people that did so much to help us out of Afghanistan when
that's a noteful thing today, I think, or this week.
Well, anyway, I'll let me just read some of the high points from the letter here that from Dan Crenshaw to the Honorable Alejandro Mayorkas and the Honorable Anthony Blinken. Very honorable guys. Anyway. Blah, 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 blah. For this reason, we request that you immediately begin the process of reviewing the special immigrant visa program to ensure that it has the necessary resources to operate effectively. We learned from SIV recipients.
Why would we do that?
Well, there's because we learned from SIV recipients and service providers of some unnecessary delays in processing these applications. Immediately processing all pending applications should be a top priority for the Department of Homeland Security. This would provide an evacuation plan for up to some 17,000 Afghan civilians and their families who worked alongside our troops. In addition to processing, we learned from service providers that there is a need to provide financial assistance to SIV recipients so that they can immediately purchase flights out of Afghanistan or accommodated travel. Goodness.
I really struggle with the Afghan migrant thing for the people who helped our troops while they were over there. They do have a legitimate reason to leave because the Taliban ain't gonna be friendly to them.
They were shooting them in the head in the street.
Yeah, they were good. I know that we have the case with the Afghani individual who decided to go fucking lose his shit.
Here's the issue.
Well, not the one.
How do you tell which one's which?
I know.
Here's the issue, though, Steve. How do you tell which one's which?
There was no vetting, and we've now found out that, as a matter of fact, the vetting was purposefully avoided and fast-tracked at every opportunity.
We put them in Germany at our base. We put them in Germany at our base. We said we were vetting them. Apparently, we didn't do shit, and then we shipped them over here.
Yeah,
I get it. I hear you.
Which is annoying. Well, I just wonder how many people got shot in the head in the street that could have been on that plane instead of people who weren't supposed to be there.
How many people that we know are terrorists that are on terrorist watch lists, not counting Jelani. Anyway.
It's really a shame that we left people behind, not just our people, but people who helped us. That was, I think we already have all of our opinions on Rickard on that one. That was one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was it was really abysmal. I 100% agree. But when it comes to the Afghanis, I do actually have real sympathy for them because
well, now they're all saved by this.
Right. And this is the other thing too, right? I'm not opposed to all immigration. I'm not. I'm really opposed to illegal immigration. I think that's really bad. What's up, boss?
Oh yeah, I'm with you there. I mean, I'm honestly, I'm a bit of a moratorium kind of guy.
So I was talking with, so same conversation, talking with my buddy, say there's a lot of stuff we would agree on, and it's principles that we agree on, it's things like social safety nets, et cetera, and that we probably just going to disagree on implementation. I don't want to have a fucking communist revolution. But
I
like,
hear you.
there's just some basic things like getting rid of illegal aliens and preventing them from showing up because they're causing havoc. That is something that used to be like a core thing in the Democrat Party, and then it was like a kind of a thing that was there in the Republican Party, and then you'll notice that it's not even like a flipped issue. Republicans and I'd say a lot of rank and file Democrats still give a shit, but then there's this large part of the Democrat Party, especially like the strong left side of it, that just doesn't like go, oh, it's just a thing and it's there. They're actively trying to encourage it. It's like, this is just bullshit, guys. Like, follow the fucking law or change it. Like even if they did, so like that's the thing is at a bare minimum, past the part where I have an opinion on like the implementation and the how and the why and all that, just following the fucking law. Like at least be consistent so that we don't have this trained violation hanging out
kind of a
as a
big
cloud. Because it's not like, oh, they say they haven't committed crimes. It's like, motherfucker, by definition, they have committed a crime. They either entered illegally
Right.
or stayed.
Oh yeah, that's the biggest load of horseshit. It's like, look, these illegals,
I'm
they
tired
have
of
the
fucking-
lowest rates of criminality. Like they committed a fucking
so
crime
100%.
on day one.
100%.
Like they started this
the other
whole
problem,
journey
too,
as a criminal.
They have a
when
higher
they-
percentage rate of committing crimes, writ large, than the general prison population because at least they have the benefit of the doubt before it comes to something like getting killed. Like we know for a fact that they came in and they overstayed illegally. Like that is a definitional thing versus if you're in jail, you're definitely a criminal. Well, that's actually subject to a jury, etc. But like if you're here and you're not supposed to be, that's it.
Yeah, and despite Biden and Kamala saying no, come here, that wasn't the law. It was actually quite the opposite of that.
Yeah, like it's still illegal. I mean, that's the thing that really pissed me off is they illegally brought them in, knowing that it was going to be a major problem. Like that was calculated, purposeful. That was not an accident. But at any stretch, like they had the CBP1 app, they encouraged them along the route with NGOs. Just ridiculous.
Well, I think the most interesting aspect to that is the enforcement of our laws is labeled as authoritarian, whereas I think the lack of enforcement is the actual authoritarian thing. Trump has not
the
turned around
anarcho-tyranny,
and
like fascism,
has
basically. It's the
well,
it functions like fascism, but it destroys the society.
It's not even that. It's not even that. Like, if you unilaterally make the decision that you're not going to enforce the law because you just don't like it, like, that's an authoritarian decision.
True.
Right? Regardless of any of the other nonsense that goes around with this, like, that is a legitimately authoritarian decision. If you've decided that you are the judge, jury, and executioner of law, and you're just not going to follow things that everybody else has agreed upon, like, that's authoritarian in nature. And so, like,
it's the Cloud
this is one
strategy. That's what they've been following with that, bringing in millions of people to fuck with us, like to just overload the system. All the social safety nets we all take for granted, or we actually agree on with people on the left, even with Democrats and Republicans on all sides. We have social safety nets we care about. We have social services we care about. We want things like police, firemen, etc. Hospitals. If you just bring in a whole fuck ton of people and overload it all at once, you collapse it.
Oh, on that specific note,
this was the Cloward-Pippin strategy.
On that exact note, as a matter of fact, I've got a bit of great news for you guys you may have missed that I haven't seen a lot of reporting on. This one's out of Scott Bessent himself. So, quoting here, at Trump's direction, we're working to cut off federal benefits to illegal aliens and preserve them for U.S. citizens. The long and short here...
Should have been a thing from the beginning.
Should have never been a thing in the first place.
I can't believe you haven't done, like... It's so like, I get there's going to be marginal fraud and marginal, overlap for benefits, but like, why the fuck it was ever allowed in the first place and encouraged is still fucking illegal. But like, why the hell?
Yeah.
I like that our hospitals are
But
required to
these
treat
things-
anybody who shows up in the ER.
Oh, but
But I also do not want to be paying for a fucking illegal to go to the ER.
there's one more on that though. One
Well,
more,
again,
and that
I
is
don't-
that
I
they're
don't
not
have a
going to allow
problem
them to
with
use our
an
financial
illegal immigrant
systems.
going to the ER. Like, I
No,
think
no,
that's
I
fine.
like that
we
part.
should treat
that's-
people. However, there should be a retainer hold on them if they show up, and then they go home, right? Like,
I
we
think
just
we should
send
be-
them home.
I think better than that, because it would solve a lot of the problem at the source. I think we just need to extract that fee out of the fucking parent country. Get where they're from and say, hey, look, we got one of your people, and you now owe us for this hospital visit. Don't even put it on a tariff. Just tell them straight up, here's the bill. Done.
Well, speaking
I
of bills
would
here,
agree with that.
just another note on this is that they're not going to allow them to, quote, use our financial institutions to move their illicitly obtained funds, meaning no more cross-border money transfers.
All right.
Quote, it is exploitation and, quote, it will end.
Good.
And again,
Like, here's
President
the thing.
Trump
I'm
is...
all for people doing with their money what they're going to do if they're here legally. Like, if you're just like a visiting worker, you know, you go to a farm and you work 6 months, or
Yep.
you work 6
Yep.
weeks.
And you want to
take that
send
money
us home? Yep.
I think that's fine.
Oh, yeah, I mean, as
think if
long
you're
as
here
you've
illegally-
crossed your T's and dotted your I's and all that.
Yeah, because we invite you in. You should come in here if you were invited in. I think that's
Absolutely.
perfectly fine. I think if you're going to come here and you're not invited in, or you're not needed and you were invited in by a dumb program, I think that we need to fix that. You know, secure borders are great. If you're invited in by a dumb program, we have the instruments to fix that on our own. Like, I think H-1B needs to be either reformed or gotten rid of. Gotten rid of would be better, because I think 01 way outstripped that performance.
Well, we've seen what H-1B has become, and this is what
Yeah,
it always was going to
sucks.
become. So it's had its day.
Well, we allowed other countries to be to have a say in how the people we invite in are scored for our purposes. We should be the ones testing them, even if we have to fly our people out there to test them there. That's something we can build out as a private service and regulate in a way that's not going to fuck us in the ass. Like, because letting them tell us their degrees are valid and their standardized tests are valid, that kind of shit.
Oh yeah,
That just created a cottage industry of cheating and
that has
and
done
hoard.
so much damage to every single industry that any of these people have gotten into.
I mean, we retest their students when they come in on a student visa here for a very good reason, and we should do the same thing with stuff like H-1B. And I don't know what test they would use. Maybe make a new standardized test and a new standardized testing authority to cover different industries, whatever. That would be fine. But the fact that they just get to say, yeah, I got my degree from insert famous name here that doesn't actually exist over there.
Yeah, here's my
and
degree
then-
from
and then here's my
XYZ
scores.
fly-by-night school. Yeah,
You know, I got my engineering degree at Delhi University, whichever one that happens to actually be. Or say they go to Canada. The big scam there is they go there to study, and the university, you know, it's Southampton Institute of Technology level shit. Where they just have some mom and pop dry cleaning store that happens to have a sign out front that says something like Harvard, and it is that stupid. I mean, they don't use Harvard, but there's like bigger universities in town, and they just add like a word to the name, and somehow that gets them a pass in the office. Like, they think they're, I think what's happening is they're just being rubber stamped. They're not actually being, you know, the names are being read for that. But of course, they think they're so clever, and they will tell you. That's why they've had more immigration from India in the last, what was it, 5 or 10 years than they've had in the entire history of Canada.
oh yeah, it's explosive.
It's right. It wasn't a small subtle shift. It was suddenly a fuck ton of people are showing up. They're all on quote student visas and they're looking for regular employment with regular hours. And then I guess they maybe get their degree awarded to them from their fake university at whatever time. I don't know about. I don't even know if it's run long enough for that to be looked into as a fraudulent scam, same way the whole Somalia thing has gone down up in Minnesota. Sorry, Somali thing.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Thankfully, we don't really need to dig into that too much because
no. But I have an update for you.
Okay,
I have a great one.
Oh, I've got an update
like
for you
billion,
as well.
2 billion. Remember, last night it was like $1 or $2 billion that they managed to scam. The number's up to $8 billion. Last night,
and they're saying that that's maybe not it either.
It's probably not it.
No.
It's getting worse.
It's the largest scam on the U.S. taxpayer that has actually ever occurred, short of Pentagon fuckery.
So, honest question, like, what's the period of time with which this has occurred?
Not very long.
At
the housing
at
one
the
and
very
the
latest, it could be earlier, but at the latest, it began in 2018.
So the one for feeding kids and for autism, those were like in the last 5 or 10 years, like last 5 years or so for the autism one. The food one was like the last 5 or 10 years, and then there's several, like there's over 80 people already indicted, with several of them having been convicted. The one guy got convicted by the jury, and the judge threw it out because the judge is fucking Ponzi or Patsy. Yeah. It was the same one. I think it's the same one where the one person got offered $200,000 in a bag, cash, and they turned it in. One of the jurors. They turned that in, and the guy has just gotten in more trouble. It's like, at that point, as a juror, it's like, okay, that's fucking hilarious. You're definitely getting convicted, but I'm going to talk to the cop about maybe keeping one of the 10K stacks.
Yeah, it's.
Although I bet you, as a juror, you're probably offered part of whatever bribes. They've gotta be.
Well,
set up to get them to turn in.
Well, when you're looking at the judge and he's like, "Look at me, I'm the judge now." You have a certain level of expectations, right?
See, I'm of two minds on that, because part of me thinks I should just go ahead and keep the bribe until after the trial, and then turn it in, because then it's like, not only did this guy's bribe not work on me, but I fucking convicted him and then turned it in.
Well, absolutely.
But then part of me is like, instantaneously turn it in.
Well, the best part about that too is you can do the New York turn in. It's like, he offered me $3,000, and it's the important thing that I feel like I should give it to you to make restitution.
The thing is they can turn around and say, no, I offered more than that, and here's the proof with maybe someone from the outside.
You mean to say the middleman took some of the money you intended for me? It is unconscionable. The nerve of these people. I'm telling you.
There you go. Like,
the nerve.
There's going to be ways to play around the game, but at the same time, it's like, it's probably not going to be as facile as, he offered me $100 and I took it with this grocery bag.
Well, but very much related. This one, I don't know if I've seen either of you guys talking about this one, and it's a really big bit of news.
What's up, friend?
The work permit eligibility term is 5 years, right?
Right.
No, it isn't.
No. Okay.
Not anymore, sir. Not anymore. As of the 4th of December, just yesterday, it is 18 months for the categories of refugees, asylees, aliens granted withholding of deportation or removal, aliens pending applications.
Does it have the option
for
renewal?
That's the renewal period. It is not 5 years. It is down to 18 months, and that
makes sense.
Yeah,
but it should be vetted. So, like, that's the thing is we have.
And that's how they were doing a lot of the fuckery too. It's like, you've got 5 years, and then 5 years is a long time to disappear.
We have refugee populations that have been here for like 30, 40 years that are still on refugee status, and I do not understand why that is. They should either be naturalized or given permanent status, or they should go home.
Well, and this is the hard part for me is, right. Like, we turn around. I remember Joe Rogan a while ago. He's like, hey, if they've been here for X number of years and they haven't really done anything, and they paid their taxes, I kind of agree with him.
Oh, yeah, and from a moral standpoint, you get it, but it's like...
Like, from a moral standpoint, I 100% I'm there.
you got to look at the numbers.
But at the same time, when we start talking about this, where like they've been on the system forever, like these are the kinds of things that the federal government should be saying, hey, yeah, we fucked up a little bit, and we need to make sure that this is adequately covered. Right?
But I'm even okay with the people we've kind of pushed into that lifestyle being just the last group that's allowed to do it.
Now the problem with that is that's what Ronald Reagan said too.
Out.
So I'm kind of at the end of
as a bare minimum though. That's what I'm saying. At a bare minimum, like they should be the last ones allowed to get away with it. If we're going to offer
something, maybe, but even then, I would just be like, look, you're going to have to go. But if it's me, I'm saying you got to go. But we're going to go ahead because this isn't on you. Everybody else fucked you over, so you're at the front of the line if you want to do this right.
Well, and that's kind of where I'm at too. Is like there's an honest case to be made for the people that have completely evaded law or who have completely not shown up on the law enforcement radar for 20 fucking years if they've been living here. Like,
but they're also doing it as a legal refugee. That's the thing.
Or even those who aren't. Even if those who came here illegally, but it's not like, you know, they basically came here, they worked here, they lived their life here.
Your dreamers,
like, I think there's a legitimate case there. Yeah. Like,
well, how do we know that they haven't showed up on radar? That's the problem.
You get cases. I think the best case as an example of a failure here is there's this teenager that was like, or this college student that was getting deported, and the left's like, oh my god, this is so bad.
Yeah.
She's had a deportation order, or she came here in like 2014. They caught her, gave her an order of deportation in like 2015.
Yeah.
And somehow 10 years later, she's still fucking here. Like, no.
Graduating from college. Okay.
Yeah, nobody did any of their due diligence in that whole 10 years to just check to make sure that they were hiring somebody legal. Or she worked under the table for 10 years.
But what I was saying with the whole asylum thing, the refugees, I was talking about the ones who've gone through the process and done it right. And we have, to a certain extent, just kind of permitted them to keep that status without having to go through the rest of the process one way or the other. Because the temporary protective status for them just never expired. Again, 20, 30, 40 years.
Oh yeah, they've been able to sit on they've been able to sit on the pot and not shit or get off of it for a long time. And honestly, I'm at the you just need to get off the pot and go shit somewhere else, buddy.
Personally. Remember, their country might still have that issue though.
To be fair, right? Like again, I'm with Craig on this. Like, there's people who came. There are legitimate asylum claims. And I'm not even talking about the stuff in the last 5 to 10 years, which I think is largely not legitimate because we've had NGOs
I have a big
actively
update for you for
scheming against
that.
it. But like, there are people who legitimately fled their country before it became how do we get paid money to sit there and make sure people, you know, seek asylum. And those people have been here for a very long time. And it's not their fault that our system has sucked. It's not their fault that our government hasn't prosecuted their case.
And while they're encouraged to seek legal status. Well, not even seek legal status, because they already have legal status. While they're encouraged to pursue permanent residence, they aren't required to, and it costs money. So, like, why would they, while their temporary protective status is still in play? They just re-up every 5 years, or however long it is. And like to that extent, like that's on us. Telling them that they can just stay here and wait.
There's 100%, like, there are immigration cases that are legitimately a U.S.-caused, U.S. problem. We need to adjudicate it. Like, what the fuck are we doing wrong?
Yeah, like, so that's kind of stuff's on us, and we should provide a solution to those people. But again, they're here legally. They're here legally because we allowed them to come in. We said, hey, your country's a shithole right now, and you're about to get killed. We'll give you safe harbor. And, you know, you can be here, you can work, you can live your life while you have this temporary protective status on the assumption you're either going to continue your process on your journey to stay here as a permanent resident, or you'll go home one day when we've declared that emergency of whatever crime is over. Like, you know, El Salvadorans, like a third of their population live here because we let them in, and it's fine. But at the same time, it's like that has been a thing for so many years. Like, have they really not improved that much down there? Is it really impossible for them to go home?
Yeah,
or is it really that bad? Is it impossible for them to continue their life here as a permanent resident.
Yeah, the only reason
for a lot of them, they
you're
are
staying
permanent
here
residents.
as an El Salvadoran is you've either become a citizen or you got a really good reason not to want to go back to El Salvador. You know what I'm saying, Maryland man?
That's the thing, though, is that there's a lot of cases like that because we give temporary protective status because we let ourselves become the police of the world. Which, again, I'm fine with the fact that we let in people who are in need because we're neighborly like that. I'm not fine with the part where we kind of just let it persist in the background without solving the problem one way or the other. And it's not like you have to coerce them. It's just like, provide the path, say, yeah, there's a fee, but get over it, or go home. And that's all we have to take, because we brought them in, we did them that favor. Not saying they need to return the favor immediately, but just follow the process and pick a side on that because we got to resolve it.
Now, quite directly related to that is a release out of USCIS just 2 days ago, well, 3 days ago, on the 2nd, hold and review of all pending asylum applications and all USCIS benefit applications filed by aliens from high-risk countries dated to 2021. They are all marked for deportation and potential citizenship revocation.
So, that's part where I have an issue on that one. Is if you've gone through the whole process, you've got your permanent residence status, green card, you went through the process after that, and you got naturalized as a citizen.
Well, the thing is, just like we were saying, though, it's that lack of vetting.
Right. Well, I was saying, if you went through the process and you did it right, you followed the rules, you've done nothing bad. This is the funny thing is, this is the argument that you get from people talking about illegal aliens, except they're actually here fucking legally. They did the process right. People who did it right and followed our rules, and are worthy of being here.
I do see those cases where they're in, immigration court and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And I actually, I'll be honest, I feel a little bit bad there. If you cross the border illegally, that's one thing. Even then, I really struggle with the asylum claim. The problem that we have is that we need to. The biggest issue that we have is asylum was this giant loophole. And we all kind of knew it's a giant loophole. We absolutely want the poet from Russia who criticized Putin to be able to escape to America and become an American citizen and continue to criticize Putin. We want that.
Right.
Let's
we
not.
don't want Allahu Akbar from Shitistan to come over here and start blowing up our buses.
Right. We don't want economic migrants coming here and saying, "Yep, I would really like to live here because I want a PS5."
Well, it's there was an economic downturn.
I want a PS5 too. I got one, but you're not the kind of thing that we actually want here. If you had a skill that we really wanted, or and again, I'm 100% in favor of increasing the amount of engineers that we have here. I think that's a great thing.
I'd like for the engineers we have here to be employed personally, but
But it's moreover, I would like the engineers who come across the border to actually be fucking engineers. That's one of those things that pisses me off to no end, is that argument. Doctors and engineers. Where the fuck are they? I mean, please, by all means, show me where they all are.
Well, to be fair, we do actually get some high-skilled ones, but they all come from China, and they're all very, very highly skilled, and not just in their field, but in another field.
In the illegal population, I'm not seeing all of these wonderful illegal aliens.
To be fair, there are a number of highly skilled Chinese individuals that have come in illegally for whatever reason.
There's also apparently a couple of somewhat qualified police officers who showed up illegally 20 years ago. Just happened to be in certain police forces today. The one that killed me, the Russian guy who got caught, he got out of detainment, and he's back in the fucking force, and he got compensated with back pay for time lost due to his imprisonment. I was just you didn't just reward this guy the once. It's just a whole fucking repeating pattern of rewarding bad behavior.
Oh, and speaking of that, this is something else. Okay, so we've talked about Keith Ellison, the AG out of Minnesota.
Yes.
A number of times,
Captain,
honestly.
the guy who held up Nicholas Bray's Antifa handbook and said, "I'm Antifa." On Twitter. What was it? 2015, 2016, thereabouts.
Yeah. So, interestingly enough, obviously he has gone soft on a lot of the Somalian crime.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, so unsurprising. Well, it's not just that. He personally met with those same Somalians and took money from them. Bribes, as a matter of fact. And he is now under investigation because he has been recorded having done so.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Hey, buddy, is this in your handbook? Is this in the handbook?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, was it red? Was it little? Yeah, well, he's I only hope that he gets a new book, and it gets thrown at him. Because that's what he's got coming.
God, I can't remember what the hell I was talking about. It was something on X, and I mentioned that it's like I don't want I want the judge. This is just like to get out a turn of phrase. Like the judge, I want him to beat them with the book. It's like just
it'd be nice.
It's one of those things. Like just don't even throw the book at him. Just go over there and savage him. It's like, this is the long arm of the law, and this is about to be the long dick of it. Well, that's probably going a little too far.
Oh, well, speaking of kind of getting back at the people that deserve getting back at, there's something we reported on last week, obviously, was the senseless killing of these people that are bringing hundreds of tons of poisons into America specifically for the purpose of financing terror. And
the submarines going out fishing.
Yeah, so on that, there's been a bit of an update there. Hegseth and Bradley are being encouraged by numerous individuals to pursue defamation charges against the Washington Post and New York Times, as it has been revealed that they did actually blatantly lie on that.
So I know that I think the last time I was on the show, I sat there and I talked about I'm unhappy with the Trump administration. I think there's a lot of things that I really liked about it, or liked about the sale about it. There's, I think Trump 1 was a lot better than Trump 2. I think that his messaging has been fucking terrible. I think that he has absolutely 100%. He has spent so much time on petty bullshit that it's actually legitimately pissing me off. Yeah, it's really holding him back a bit. So there's a lot of things I don't like about the Trump administration, and one of the key things, and I don't want to say decorum. I'm not the guy to sit there and police decorum. I'm really not. I'm not. If you catch me in a suit, it's a bad fucking day. There's a funeral and I'm obligated to go into a church.
Sure.
What's up, boss? Sorry, I gotta make sure I don't get. Don't kill this guy.
Understood.
But yeah, so there's the but. So I'm not the decorum king. I'm not gonna. But when it comes to Trump, he's a fucking billionaire who's the president. I expect a little. I'm not expecting a lot. We're not talking about infinity decorum here. I'm expecting him not to go on a fucking Truth Social, his own personal platform tirade that is at best, counterproductive to a legal case, and at worst, legitimately bordering on illegal, to the point where he's going to tie up his own administration in nonsense that it doesn't need to be. But when you start talking about something what is it? Hegseth.
Yeah.
Turning around and suing the Washington Post, that's the kind of thing I want to see. When the 6 people decided to sit there and produce their, hey, you have to disobey illegal orders, Trump's entire thing should have been yeah, I agree that you shouldn't do that, but we're going to prosecute you for sedition because, we kind of know what you're doing.
Because they didn't specify an illegal order.
They didn't specify an illegal order. It's not and that's what
Kelly fucked up on.
But instead he decided to sit there and post this they should be hung for treason bullshit, which isn't even like the appropriate sentence for the appropriate crime, right? But like, had he just turned around and said, like waited for a press conference, because a press conference is going to happen for that. Had he just turned around and said, "Yep, these people are going to be prosecuted for sedition." It's not like they didn't specify a crime. They're fundamentally undermining the armed forces. This is we just can't tolerate that, and it's not a question of like free speech or something like that. It's like you can't do that. We know what you're doing. We understand. Every court everywhere will do whatever, and we're gonna just tolerate it. What's up, boss?
This made me think of something. So this past presidents are probably saved from much of this humiliation purely by the fact that the only people who could hear them being pissed off about dumb shit that happens in their presidency were in the room with them.
A very real possibility.
But can you imagine? Could you imagine Bill Clinton out there talking about how, I did get my dick sucked. What are you gonna do about it? And then the impeachment happens. Like,
now, to be fair, I'll be honest with you, that really wouldn't have been Bill's speed. Now, George, I would not be surprised at all if George Jr. was talking shit on Twitter. If Twitter was a thing back in the day.
Taking bumps. He would have talked about taking bumps before going horseback riding.
I mean, be entirely honest, I wouldn't be surprised if George had been talking shit. Now, just a real quick update on
the point is, I'm not asking for a lot. I'm just asking for a little bit of decorum. And I think it would be the top of decorum for Pete Hegseth to say, look, I really, normally I just kind of let this stuff roll off my back, but we can't have people outright lying about representatives of the United States government and what they said, right? Like we can't just let this go unanswered. And so I have to sue them, and we have to get defamation.
I'm sorry, we can't let you go around causing
we can't let you just making shit up.
And sedition,
right. and that's
in the military,
sedition or any of the other stuff. Like all of that is that would be the appropriate response. You say we just can't tolerate that. Like I hear you. It's free speech. Normally, I just let it go because it's whatever. It's a dumbass saying dumbass things. But like we have to pursue sedition, we have to pursue charges of fundamentally undermining the United States.
Mr. Kelly, he took an oath. He broke the oath. It is what it is.
He's got a different set of rules. He goes back to the UCMJ if he gets pulled back in for that.
Absolutely.
So on the flip side of this decorum issue, on the other side of it, a place where I will absolutely applaud is when he comes out as someone who said we have to bully them, this, that, and the other, and then calls him a retard. Because I think calling out Mr. Walz in that way, Mr. would have been Vice President Walz, who's now crying about being called a retard, calling him a retard.
Oh, just another update on Tim Walz too. By the way, in these investigations, it's starting to look like he might be tied to some of this bribe money too.
Yeah. Because
don't really have much to say on that yet. Oh yeah,
bribe money.
Yeah. The same that I was just talking about, taking bribes from the Somali community. Yeah, he might have been taking some of that money too.
Might have been him. Yeah.
But the other thing that I was trying to break in just a second ago to mention regarding old Bush country out of Texas is there's a redistricting bill that just got ruled to be completely above board and 100% legitimate. Thanks, SCOTUS. So,
do you remember what the breakdown was with the how many judges were in the concurring opinion of the court?
I don't.
We're of the opinion of the court.
I want to say 6 to 9, but I genuinely can't remember. Let me see here.
Cthulhu, no. Sorry, my dog is rubbing his eyes.
Let me see.
Like I said, it's not purely dust-free, but it's mostly dust-free.
Yeah.
For the drywall stuff, and so he's getting irritated.
That's kind of happening.
You might get one of those. You might get yourself like a lab wash bottle with some DI or some tap water in it, just to help them out at some point.
Or a hose.
Yeah. Well, what's speaking of a hose, and what the kind of thing that you use to just kind of toss junk out of an area and you spray it down. This means that we're going to be rid of Al Green and his cane and Jasmine Crockett because they no longer have seats.
Wait, those are separate? I thought he leaned on her all the time.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to distract. I think this is actually kind of an important thing. The whole
the Crockett thing's going to be out.
So, and I've seen, like, one of the things that's really pissed me off about the left is the left has spent a tremendous amount of time arguing about how bad the Supreme Court is for whatever it is. What was their actual ruling? Did any of you guys actually see the actual ruling? I have not seen that.
On which one?
One way or the other.
The redistricting, you mean?
Yeah. Like, what did they actually say? What was their justification or lack of justification of it?
I haven't seen that yet. I'm sure that's going to come out
is
on...
likely to secede on the merits of its claim that the district court committed at least 2 serious errors.
Actually,
it added lower court, quote, improperly inserted itself into an active primary campaign, causing much confusion and upsetting the delicate federal-state balance in elections. So from how I'm reading it here, it looks like it's all procedural, basically. Like,
did they just punt it?
No. It looks like they said, like, look, you did everything wrong, and you're trying to make this about race, and it's not. It's just you did it wrong. You can't do this. This is how it should have always been.
Okay.
That's my quick read on it.
Because I know that challenge was the majority minority district, and ultimately.
Oh yeah,
like,
as a matter of fact, let me read directly from it here. This clarifies a lot. Far from seeking to rectify racial gerrymandering, it urges Texas to inject racial considerations into what Texas insists was a race-blind process. So not only struck down procedurally, but struck down as like you're literally injecting racism into a process that you are saying you want to be race blind. So, yeah.
I want to know what the minority opinion is on that shit now. Was it 6-0, like, without any joinder on the dissent, or were there 3 dissenting, or what?
I am trying to
I want to know what the dissenting opinion was. Like, it wasn't racist, it was just
Kagan.
Anti-racist.
Kagan, of course.
Of course.
Let me see here.
I'm guessing Barrett was on the correct side this time.
Alito, Thomas, Gorsuch, all in favor.
KBJ or KJB, whatever.
Who have we got? Okay, so we've got Kagan. Was it just Kagan? There's no way. Ketanji Brown had to be on her. So okay, well it might be that she's just the only one that really wrote anything out about it.
Okay, yeah, they don't have to join a dissent. Well, actually, does it say joined by at the top of the dissent, or is it just the dissent?
No. I'm on SCOTUS blog. I'd figure they'd have more data, but there's really not a whole lot in that.
Let's see, SCOTUS.
Oh, okay. Kagan, Sotomayor, and Brown, Jackson. So that was the 3 dissenting.
Okay.
Unsurprisingly.
Texas dissents. Let's see if it has anything here. Okay. 2 days ago, blah, blah, blah. Is that the one? What's the court number do you have?
Oh, here, I'll just put it in.
Their scores blog.
Here you go. It's in the staff chat links for you. But it's a link below for anybody that's going to want to look that up or, in the Discord if you remember.
They have a link to the SCOTUS decision, though. Like I said, I know that's probably going to be on Pacer, soon enough. But I'm not paying 10 cents a page for that.
Oh, no, it is there. You just need to scroll down. There will be a link in that says Texas came to the Supreme Court on November 21st, and it'll have the link to the actual case and everything. And then scroll on down. It's in there. But,
it's because they're freaking gray. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. But anyway, long and short, basically, just that you're saying that you're trying to do this anti-racist thing that is quite literally racist, and also you're going completely against what is the law and is the standard of operation. So no, that's not going to happen.
Okay, opinion was joined by Sotomayor and Jackson.
Mm-hmm. And that's your dissent. Unsurprisingly.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, obviously, right, like, these political appointees have a tendency to vote for the political party or in these proceedings that supports their worldview, right? They don't get appointed. Democrats don't appoint people who are inherently Republicans.
Or inherently
So,
unbiased.
the terminology is a coalition district. That shouldn't be a fucking thing.
No.
Like, I mean, I understand maybe as a categorical label, but like as a thing that has legal weight to it, that shouldn't be a thing. It's either district or it's not.
Oh, yeah, completely.
Majority minority district.
I mean, to be honest, I expected the majority minority district challenge to fail.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and
like,
thankfully it has.
The Supreme Court has, in the last few years, really undone a lot of the really racist shit that really used to piss me off. You know, there was, if you talk about when we went to college, I remember my mother and my father were like, hey, you should go apply for scholarships. There wasn't scholarships available for white males.
No, there fucking was not.
And it was, and one of the things that was surprising in applying to scholarships was how race and gender based these things were.
All of them. It was so.
All
it
of them
was
were.
A selling point.
It was
if you're a minority,
like it was,
especially if you're black or female, and you're going into anything technical. They've got $1 million lined up for you. That's why. That's one of those things where you used to see those videos posted on YouTube, where black girls were flexing how many millions of scholarships they were offered.
Yep. And I remember applying to it, and my mother was like, "Hey, you need to go apply to this. Like, it'll help make your college cheaper." And then I came to the realization very shortly. So my first girlfriend was black and Hopi, right? And I remember, I touched base with her. I touched base with her a few years after we broke up, and I remember turning around, and she was sitting there and saying, "Oh yeah, I'm still in university." And I'm like, "You should have graduated a year ago." She said, "Yeah, but I'm not really ready to enter the workforce." You're like, "Well, how can you do that?"
Well,
She's
why
like,
not
"Well,
take on another year's worth
tribe
of debt?
gives me money. Tribe gives me money. I've got a ton of scholarships." You're like, "Well, that's not available for me." Right? Like those kinds of things.
That's not an option.
Those kinds of things end up pissing people off.
They will.
Yeah.
But the Supreme Court has done a great job in eliminating a lot of those that bias that existed, right? And again, I started off as a progressive guy, and so you start off as a progressive. And the only way that you can remain progressive is if you are inherently racist and you believe that, you're doing a great thing for the poor black man.
Well, I mean, it's
racism of low expectations.
It's a burden that the white man must carry.
Right. And that's essentially the argument that's made by progressives.
And then, they don't know any better. They can't do any better. It's like, fuck you. They're human. They're just like the rest of us. That's the basic argument.
But Craig, they speak so well sometimes.
Yeah, that shit is.
Oh, and they make the most delicious
coffee. By proximity too.
The most delicious coffee.
Or, geez, who's gonna clean your toilets or pick all your fruit? That kind of shit.
That kind of shit. It's fucking annoying. Yeah, but to sit there and expect the Supreme Court to go another way, they have been consistently overturning those race-based, hey, we need this race-based thing because it can't exist without special treatment for the races.
Well, good. I hope they overturn more of that shit.
Yeah,
I'm sure they will.
They all need to go.
I cannot wait because that's one of those, the Democrats found themselves a new set of slaves after the last set was taken away from them. You gotta take away the set too.
Yeah, we need to just keep getting rid of the slaves and keep getting rid of the slaves until you fuckers will start paying people a real wage. Deal with it.
Well,
it's incredible.
Yeah, I'm glad that there's two things that I'm glad at, right? One, that they turned around and basically said the argument that you made, which is majority minority districts are under threat. that's not a constitutional argument.
Yeah.
They didn't address whether or not political gerrymandering is okay or not, which I'm not saying that I support it. I to be honest, I don't. And if somebody came in and said, but if by the way, they turned around and had, they came in and they ruled against the Texas thing on those grounds, that would provide conservatives a way to go after California and Illinois.
Yeah, but then every single change in districts on every single state would become a challenge at court, claiming 100%. It was somehow political and with that precedent. And while I can 100%. Appreciate that, it's one of those things where we just kind of we have to accept a certain amount of it, and if they go too far, we'll probably have to actually do something about it. But so far they haven't yet. It's kind of like using the impeachment as a weapon against Trump last time. If they keep doing that shit, it's going to become one of those things where everyone just expects it to be bullshit, and that they're just never going to take it seriously.
I mean, isn't it bullshit?
Well, that's the thing is, at the time, a buddy of mine, he was a big political junkie. He's like, well, the impeachment's always been, it's a political thing. It's not the fitness of the president. So yeah, I get that. But also, it's infrequently used because it is that important. Like the Clinton impeachment was also silly. To be fair, I mean, the thing is, he lied. He did lie. That was clear about it. At the same time, scold him, pass a resolution or some other ineffectual bullshit, and then let him get out of office. It was on his way out. Why are you going to go after him as a lame duck like that? The same way I think they shouldn't have done that to Trump. It was stupid. I think it was poorly calculated on their part, but it was also just pointless. Anyway, I'm certain they're going to do it again after they get enough people after midterms, if that happens.
Very possible. And very likely if they are positioned to do so. They will fuck around because they can, and that's their MO. Now, I got another really quite excellent update regarding basically the stance of the United States in the world. So the 2025 National Security Strategy documents just recently dropped. I'll read a couple of key points.
Okay.
On balance of power. The United States cannot allow any nation to become so dominant that it could threaten our interests. We'll work with our allies and partners.
That's a statement.
It is. We'll work with our allies.
That's who's your daddy statement right there.
Mm-hmm. Work with our allies and partners to maintain global and regional balances of power to prevent the emergence of dominant adversaries. Since Chinese economy reopened to the world in 1979, commercial relations between our two countries have been and remain fundamentally unbalanced. What began as a relationship between a mature, wealthy economy and one of the world's poorest countries has transformed into one between near peers, even as, until very recently, America's posture remained rooted in those past assumptions.
They still have that WTO third world status, by the way.
They do, and we only just recently got rid of that fucking de minimis bullshit. So, yeah, there's a lot yet to do. Also, after years of neglect, now I'm just reading some key points. There's a lot here, but anyway. After years of neglect, the United States will reassert and enforce the Monroe Doctrine to restore American preeminence in the Western Hemisphere and to protect our homeland and our access to key geographies throughout the region.
We're back, boys. That's what it is.
And yet more still, given that 1/3 of global shipping passes annually through the South China Sea, this has major implications for the U.S. economy. Hence, deterring a conflict over Taiwan, ideally by preserving military overmatch, is a priority. We will also maintain our long-standing declaratory policy on Taiwan, meaning that the United States does not support any unilateral change to the status quo in the Taiwan Strait.
So there's a problem with that language, is that it's too vague.
Well, it has to be vague for Xi's sake.
Well, that's the thing is we.
But it's also pretty clear. Policy. Like the verbiage is vague,
Monroe
but the meaning is clear.
helps.
Yeah, the Monroe
point
Doctrine
is,
kind of says, okay, look, you can say your magic words, but they're just words.
There will come a time when Daddy comes home. Yeah.
So, say all you like, but be prepared to apologize if it comes time, okay? And, we've been a long time away from this, and it's the right thing to see at the right time.
That insufferable woman from the White Women for Kamala Harris. The air quote school teacher.
Hmm.
Who had herself a little more fame than she desired over Thanksgiving break. So, she had her little. Here's how you deal with your racist aunt or uncle when it comes to illegal aliens. So, undocumented migrants.
Oh.
Yeah. Then someone made a great one holding her back with just her face, but like she had one she put out there. It's like, here's how you deal with that. It's like, oh no. You're not going to say that. It's just this woman is by herself for Thanksgiving. It's so clear.
Yeah, she is.
I don't know a single person who would deal with that shit.
And honestly, I feel sorry for those poor kitties. They deserve better.
They probably have to endure.
They definitely deserve better. They're probably getting tofurkey instead of even a real turkey. Poor things.
It's that is one of those better arguments out there. It's like, a trans kid is like a vegan cat. Everyone knows who's in charge.
Uh-huh. Yeah, quite exactly. Oh, speaking of being in charge, we should probably talk about, the big ruler, the big man that thinks that he's in charge and is in control. That, of course, being the European Union, who has sent out some fees and some fines to X.
Ofcom in the UK in particular, also going after Fortunes. And basically, Fortune
and X are saying, "Fuck you,
no.
You dog fucker, I don't care." And X is getting, some big name folks are like, well, big name. J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio are just basically saying outright, who the fuck do you think you are? And what I
would think is they should come in with a First Amendment tariff.
Well, there's an interesting thing to this.
I mean, here's what I would turn around and do is say, I would turn around and say that I would go to the international court as best I can and file a lawsuit against the EU. Well, see, here's the problem. They're a vassal state.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, we need to turn around and start addressing them as a vassal state and be like, look, you're a vassal of the United States. Let's be honest about that.
Stop being silly and act right.
Straighten your shit up.
We should start calling them the EU territory.
Yeah, quit it, or we're going to send a governor.
Yes, send them Trudeau. Send them Trudeau. Say we have a governor for you picked out.
Sadly enough, probably more masculine.
So what did I say? I said something on X earlier. There was something to the effect of we should send over one of those historical society schooners, just full kit and caboodle, and have a comically large parchment on there that says basically, we're not going to stop and you guys need to fuck off, and then have 3 muscle-bound bodybuilders from our gyms hand deliver it to the king. And it could be like, it's like the declaration of she's not coming back.
Now, there was actually a response by one of the folks at X directly to the European Commission. And this is good stuff.
I hope it was a big middle finger emoji.
Oh, no. It was a logically formed and presented statement of facts, you could say. So the European Commission basically say they find them under their DSA bullshit for having deceptive practices and not being transparent enough. Anyway, so we've got Nikita Beer, who works at X, is one of the kind of important guys there. And I'll just read from his tweet here. The irony of your announcement. You logged into your dormant ad account to take advantage of an exploit in our ad composer to post a link that deceives users into thinking it's a video and to artificially increase its reach. As you may be aware, X believes everyone should have an equal voice on our platform. However, it seems you believe that the rules should not apply to your account. Your ad account has been terminated.
That's good. They pulled this shit before, by the way. They did the same kind of shit before to get a journalism article out. I can't remember what fucking year it was. It was ages ago, back when Dorsey was in charge. But they did. Some journaloid decided to pull the same exact little stunt where they went in there, they made an ad for like one person to see, and they claimed like Nazis were all over the website. And then they got their asses. I think it was sued, and then they won, or then Twitter won, or it was like they just got called out and got something cut off, like access to something or another cut off. Like, but it was one of those little scandals. It's like you guys made no. That was it. It was like an election thing. But they went ahead. They made an ad account. They made a misleading. They did some bullshit ad, and then they decided to write their article about it. And it was like they came back and said, "We caught you guys. Like only you looked at it. Like this is an ad for 5 people."
Mm-hmm. One of those classics.
This has historical precedent.
Oh hey, why does your site have all this child exploitation material? Why did you upload all this child exploitation material to my website?
Or why are you on Mastodon?
Same, yeah.
I feel bad for because Mastodon, like the Fediverse, so much of it is actually cut off from those exploitation networks. And it just happens to be that Mastodon itself, as kind of one of the bigger hubs, is so massive that a lot of those networks intersected. And so that and Blue Sky, things like that, anything that's connected into the Fediverse, like there's whole regions of it. It is truly networked, hierarchically networked in the same way the internet is. And so there are these larger hubs where those smaller networks of bad shit kind of flow back in, and so anyone connected into that is going to get associated with it. And so with Mastodon being the generic Fediverse instance, just like but the thing is, it's stupid how much of a problem it is. It's like 40 to 60% of the network in the Fediverse has that stuff passing through it. Like
Wow.
Not dedicated to it, but just has it passing through.
A lot of market, I guess.
It's fucking disturbing. Like
you know what
that
else?
Shows, and I don't know where the demand is located, geographically, but the fact that it's connected in like that, you kind of makes you wonder, like, what's the distribution of languages involved in that trade nowadays?
Well, I'm going to surreptitiously transfer over to a story that could be completely related. I have no idea.
Oh boy!
But certainly the individuals involved in this would have no such proclivities. Certainly not. So anyway, Germany's MERS out of the CDU has filed thousands of criminal complaints against citizens for online insults, which of course have led to raids and such. As you will.
Yeah, there'd be no reason to be upset about being called a pedophile in Germany, I guess. Or have people question why your neighbor is a family of goats. And why the kids have horns.
Yeah, just curiosity. But some 5,000 up till this time in the year. I'm sure he'll manage to get a couple more before the year's out. Of course, there's a link here to the original story, but it's in German, so it is what it is. But I've got a disclosed TV link that'll be posted for everybody, so you can give it a look over.
Word.
Man, there's a couple more. Oh yeah, we should probably hit this one because it hasn't hit us amazingly. But YouTube's got a real weird fucky situation going on right now.
The AI algorithm, the AI Sentinel that they've got deployed.
Yeah, people like long-term creators, are getting completely shut down. Multiple channel
People have
owners.
millions and millions of views and subs and like thousands to tens of thousands of videos.
Yeah. Loads of creators. Big name creators, small creators. It's really bad. And people are putting in appeals, and the whole process is all automated and chat bots and all this. It's not even good AI, so it's not even giving any kind of worthwhile answers.
I wonder how many times it's false positive Markiplier and had to be told to fuck off.
You have to wonder.
Because like with the way his content comes out and the way that it does detection so far, it seems like it's got to be every so often just like, hey, it's him. It's like, no, it's not.
Oh, and I guess the other thing that we're just recently finding out is that in what is it, K-12, or not K-12, but K-8 education, they have removed phonics as a method for teaching reading. What the fuck is wrong with you idiotic people?
Well, here's the thing I have to say about that, and that is teaching starts in the home with parents.
True.
And one of the things my parents did was read to me and then with me that night until I was reading on my own and not out loud, and they had to keep telling me to go to fuck to sleep. It was out of the three of us brothers, I was the bookworm because I had extra hours in the day with all of my insomnia. So, like, that shit starts with getting your kids excited to want to read, and then doing it with them as an activity until they take off on their own. Out loud at first, do the whole phonics thing.
Oh yeah, you should absolutely read to your kids. Absolutely.
That's the participatory part of it that gets you to do it. You know, just pointing your finger at the page and reading out loud what you're reading for bedtime stories, and having your kid in your arms watching you do it, and then participating with you as you do it. You know, turning your kids say, okay, now you do it. You know, which the first time around is like, what the fuck do you mean? Except just with the eye look.
And also, I have some incredibly sad news, but I have a solution that I think I have a win-win solution to a very sad state of affairs. So, as of right now, currently, and this is gonna blow your mind, but India is collapsing. Their birth rates, they've just plummeted. But
I can't imagine why.
Well, I've got a solution that I think will benefit everyone. We've got a lot of Indians here. They got a lot of Indians in Canada. I think that we can do the right thing and get those folks back home to help out so that they can make India great again. I mean, everybody wins, right? They get to go home, make their home country amazing. I can only imagine how much Izzat that would provide to not only them, but all the people that they know and their people back at home. I mean, that would be the thing to do. What a socially conscious thing. It would, I don't know, it might even get you to be reincarnated into a higher caste just for having thought to do it. If I were an Indian, that's what I would do. I'd be like, wow, I want to be a Brahmin one day. That's what I'm going to do.
So I saw an interesting YouTube video kind of along these lines.
Yeah.
And it strongly suggested that China's population is not what they've been broadcasting it to be.
It looks like there's some fuckery there too, yes.
And so India admitting it is very good. But it's very interesting that China's population is being interpreted as, hey, maybe they're not as strong as it is, because one of the reasons why China is perceived to be strong is because of how many people they are theorized to have.
Now, it would be one of those life conveniences, of course, the deficit persons eventually discovered, managed to keep us at around the nice round number of 8 billion people.
There is a desire to do that by some.
Well, yeah. That part's a little more worrisome. I mean, me being facetious about having to remember a different round number than the current round number, that's a little bit different.
Oh, here, let me give you a round number. You'll like this one. It's 12 million. Can you guess where I'm referencing?
Do tell. Let me guess. It's the number of people somewhere.
No, it's not 6 million twice. Sorry. It's actually the amount that the DEA chief of Obama, Mr. Paul Campo, was responsible for agreeing to launder for a Mexican drug cartel. Oopsies. What? Oh, yeah.
So, among those capital crimes we were talking about before.
Uh-huh. So, yeah, the DEA chief under Barry, he was directly working with the cartels. Which, I mean, if Fast and Furious wasn't enough to kind of tell you, there you go.
Well, when is the trial? When's the prison sentence?
Yeah, right. That's the real question. I am so sick of people revealing quote unquote crimes and being like, "Oh yeah, we're not going to prosecute him for that."
This is a sealed indictment.
I did that last week for you.
Well, this is the grand jury indictment, so we'll have to see when it comes through.
Okay, so at least there's something happening.
Oh yeah,
there has been an indictment,
and it's out of the SDNY.
Just a press release.
Let me see.
It's better than just Trump belting shit out on Truth Social.
Yeah,
that's awesome. But when?
What are you gonna do about it? What's up, boss?
220 kilos of cocaine. Wow, that's a lot. Huh.
So he was having an average night at a lawyer factory.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like a good fit for the Obama administration, so, hey.
Or a cheap night out for Biden.
Maybe. I don't know. I'd figure that he'd get wouldn't he get like a senior discount or something?
I figured.
Isn't that how that works?
If it's prepackaged in a little 1-ounce baggies, I'm sure it's the son that'll be getting it.
Oh, speaking of purchases, we should probably mention the other giant red herring, and that is Warner Brothers purchasing Netflix. Well, everybody's heard about that, but there's actually a counter bid, which I've seen no reporting on, and that's out of Paramount. So I don't know how much better it is, but at least there's a counter offer out there, and the arguments presented by Paramount are pretty reasonable. Where the Netflix offer is basically like a dividend kind of thing. They're like, look, here, we'll just pay you in cash. $30 million cash, or well, no, $30 million, $30 a share, all in cash, as well as
That's
stock.
A lot stronger.
Oh yeah, they're like, look, here, we'll.
The dividend offer is if the company, the dividend offer is if the product sinks, then they get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could easily flub it and just not have to pay out.
And it wouldn't be the first time that's happened. So, we've got a very real counter offer from, so it's the Redstones, but at least it's, not, it's certainly better than Reed Hastings and the Obamas being in charge of the entirety of the Warner Brothers catalog, is all I'm saying.
I know you're playing a video game, but that came out just kind of like I Like Turtles. Not from you, but like just the fact that it came out in the middle of a different conversation.
Well, so with these lobbies, like I said, right? Like there's PvE versus PvP lobbies.
No.
And so one of the things that's nice, like I'm not necessarily all that interested. Oh, that little bastard.
Oh, speaking of little bastards in PvP, we've got a really great one here. There was a safety evaluation and risk assessment of the herbicide Roundup and its active ingredient glyphosate for humans. Well, that's been redacted. Retracted because it's not.
Really?
Yes, actually. So they're going to have to
Based on what?
Look at the toxicology and everything regarding glyphosate, unsurprisingly.
Okay. If they're going to test it, I'm fine with that.
Well,
it's just like, you want more testing, okay.
It was one of those aspartame things where it's like, hey, you know, let's get this thing through. Okay, let's do it. You got, oh, hey, that's a lot of money. Thank you. Cool. Well, all right. Well, you're good. I'm good. Great. Okay. That's the story of glyphosate, basically. Same as the story of aspartame. Long and short.
Well,
I mean, I'm really bodging the specifics of it. But
the difference here being that like there is some daily dose, like, you know, Jean Francois Gariepi level of dose, where we're pretty certain there's going to be an elevated above background risk of liver cancer.
Mm-hmm.
But
absolutely,
he pounds like a pallet of Diet Pepsi a week. That's way over the standard amount of soda average American's going to be consuming, let alone within like 3 standard deviations of the mean.
Yep.
So,
true.
Like that kind of excess is not really covered in the "this won't kill you" statement. Glyphosate is a slightly different story in that you don't exactly have a known standard dose of it that's being taken in. Like there's not like here's a soda can with glyphosate in it kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's just in the background with some of your produce. So, like, if you grow it at home, you're not getting glyphosate.
And on top of that, too, we've also got a bit of a, R.J. Reynolds kind of situation with this, too. You know, we've got all the scientists are industry scientists, and it can be argued that there's some...
They get paid either way. That's the thing, though. Now, obviously, not at Roundup, but, like,
exactly.
if you're doing the work as an industry scientist, not at Roundup, you don't have a financial incentive to worry about getting rid of it as a product because there's other ones in the market.
Not specifically. Now, if you do support that, the briefcases full of money don't magically keep appearing at your house. So there is that consideration. You know.
So the major interest that I would have in the industry regarding a product like glyphosate is as an industrial hazard versus as a product hazard.
That's a fair argument.
Because dealing with it day to day, knowing safe limits, that's really important. Like that's where you have the kind of accidents that cause cancer after 10, 20 years, and everybody gets up in arms. Is when you start having, it's like the what the hell is it? The Radium Girls. From World War II, who all sat there. They licked the damn paintbrush to get it to come into a tip when they're painting the watch dials with radium paint to get them to glow in the dark for our boys across the sea.
Yeah,
so many of those women ended up with crippling bone cancers because of that. And that wasn't discovered for like 20, 30 years. When all of a sudden a whole wave of women who happened to work as a radium watch dial painter suddenly came down with these horrible cancers. So, like, it's an acute risk in industry that is very much of concern, not just as a liability issue, but later on, like, you're going to have to work with these materials at some point, and if nobody wants to work with them, you don't have a workforce. So you got to...
Well, to be fair, glyphosate's probably not the best example of that because you can actually work around it and use other products.
Right.
But
again,
still, I understand where you're coming from and the argument that you're making, and that is a fair point.
So here's the issue: the regulatory approach effectively is if you know it's hazardous at some level, and you don't know what safe limits are, you have to assume that the safe limit is 0. I mean, we've talked about hormesis and all that other stuff, yada yada, but like when it comes to chemical hazards, you have either a known safe limit that has been studied and documented, even on like an animal model, whatever, have to have some safe limit established. Or you assume you can't be around it. Like, there's obvious exceptions like water. But something like glyphosate is something that they would say, okay, what's the maximum exposure that's permissible with this level of risk, etc., or you're not allowed to be around it if you're following this policy, especially, like, say, at a public site.
Yeah,
so if you have a public
park, and as far as that goes,
it's
basically, you can drink a cup, it'll be okay. Like, are you fucking shitting me? And no, I wish I were.
But we know it causes cancer at some level, so now they got to say at what level it doesn't.
Be nice to know, you know.
But again, that's not the end product user. That's the industry side of it. And that's probably going to be the bigger problem for them because that includes people who spray lawns for a living to keep weeds down.
Oh, well, not just that. How many farmers? And how many of those same products that...
That's the obvious place where it happens is all the farms, but home users, you have to be able to know what the safe limit is, put a label on the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, don't spray into eyes.
Right.
When it comes
to washing... Can it be washed off?
Washing food, etc.
Can it not? Does it infect the thing itself? Does it absorb in? Is it a surfactant? What do you do with it? We need good safety data. We kind of don't have any of that. So, yeah, you know.
Contaminate, not infect.
Well, yes. Anyway. Because
precision of language is precision of mind. Come on.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Nice.
Well, anyhow, we've got some interesting situations here where we've spoken on this. I think we spoke on this last week, and we've spoken on it as it's happened, with the DOJ taking weird stances in regards to 2A fights. And I have seen a very fascinating argument put out from the folks over at Ammo Land. And there's a case, many people in the legal field are going to be familiar with the Windsor case, wherein the United States had the U.S. v. Windsor, where they had basically set it up to kind of kill the Defense of Marriage Act because they were just going to bring it to SCOTUS, to force it to come to SCOTUS, and then just say, oh, yeah, no, we don't really have anything for you. So there is the possibility that they're Windsoring the NFA, and that would be hilarious. I don't really expect it of Blondie, but it is possible. They could be doing this because the NFA is quite literally indefensible constitutionally.
Well, the tax doesn't apply anymore.
Exactly.
So I was talking with my dad about this the last time we went shooting.
Mm-hmm.
No tax means it should be no NFA.
That's right, and that's the only reason it has been allowed to stand is because it is a tax. That is a thing that the government is allowed to do. They are allowed to put taxes on things. Well, okay, what's the tax? Yep. It's 0. So I'm not paying a tax? No, you're not paying a tax. So it's legal because it's a tax, and there is no tax. Uh-huh. So...
And why are we paying for it?
Yeah.
Take away the Second Amendment issue, it's a fucking budget issue now.
Also that. And if we get rid of that, well, just think of all the money we could save. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. There's a lot of folks who have, honestly, in the very recent past, acquired NFA items that I don't really think they should get grandfathered into any of this. Let's be real, because Tyrone and Jamal, they got that shit from Wish. Let's be real. And it was so that they could be the king of the block and not because they were, collectors. So maybe they can stay in jail, but, that one serviceman that was put away for having a non-functional airsoft rifle or something that the ATF called a machine gun, that's the kind of people I want to see freed on this nonsense.
I think we've got to take the ACLU stance on this one. Not on Second Amendment.
I mean, as much as I wouldn't want Tyrone and Jamal to escape justice, it might be necessary for the greater good.
Yeah. How about this? I care about my rights more than I care about them being in prison.
Oh,
I'll go selfish on that.
But in relation to that, actually, I've got some really good news, and that's going to be out of Indiana. They've put out a new act. Let me see if I've got a name on that. I do not. Well, anyway.
Not a big newsmaker of the Indiana.
Well, this
Right, go ahead.
This might that might change very, very really. So what's happened here? They've okay, I've got the whole thing here. From Indy Star, House Joint Session 01. Yeah, I don't have the actual act name, but what's been put forward here is they've who put this out? Representative Andrew Ireland out of Indiana, former state attorney general, has put through a constitutional amendment proposal that would allow the legislature to impeach judges and prosecutors who go soft on violent crime or repeat offenders or rapists or whomever. And, of course, that's aimed...
I know that people need second chances and maybe even third chances, possibly up to fifth chances.
72nd and 73rd chances are a little much,
Can we agree that when they hit triple digits that there is no reforming them? Especially if it's the same fucking crime. We had the 3 strikes and you're out rule for how long? And it was cleaning shit up. And what happened?
Kind of seemed to be working.
Well, look, don't get me wrong. I'm 100% in the camp of like 1 or 2 offenses is not too bad, but I've managed to go through life without getting arrested. I'm not saying that I'm the optimal goal that everybody should strive to be.
Moreover,
I mean,
you haven't been convicted or indicted.
But yeah, so the point is that it's not hard to not run afoul of law enforcement. It's not a challenge.
Yeah, you shouldn't be seeing like if you can speed run getting away with shit.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, speeding is one of the few things where I think basically, like, unless you're doing triple digits on a 20-mile-an-hour or something, probably you just had a bad day and you know, there's a cop, maybe he was testy or whatever, you know, bike cop in the rain kind of thing. Like, whatever, speeding. You know, maybe you missed a stop sign, that kind of shit. It's like, don't care about that. That's not really getting in trouble with the law. But if you're like 30-time offender, you know, sex offender, like even if you thought 3 strikes and you're out was unfair, fine, 10 strikes. And if it's the same crime,
right. Like there's a point at which it's like I'm not even
terminal recidivism.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely in the hey, we like I've moved so again, I have an addict in the family, right? And we talked about this. I had this thing. This is how we're gonna redeem her. Yada yada yada. This is the trajectory arc. And it would have worked had she followed the fucking plan. But she didn't.
Right.
The bottom line is she decided to go straight down the fucking rabbit hole of continuing her addiction, continuously sitting there and imbibing substances. She managed to have a kid while fucking high as shit. Consider all of the injustice of the world for a minute, considering me and my wife struggled as much as we did. Consider the injustice of the universe there. But, like, now she's lost custody, although I think she regained custody temporarily or something like that because she pissed clean once.
Mm-hmm.
You know what would have helped her out the most? It would have being arrested. Honest to God, there's like half a dozen times where it's not even hitting rock bottom. Like just being removed from the fucking market for a little while.
Well, I mean,
would have helped her out.
It worked when she was up with you guys. She was away from it.
Steve, she's a mother.
Oh yeah. Like when she was up here with us.
Ball game though. Damn.
When she was up here with us, one of the things that she stated was that she was actively trying to have sex with her boyfriend or anybody else who would fucking knock her up. Because while she was high as a kite and fucking high all the time, her attitude was that she was falling behind her peers. So she had this group of people that she was saying, hey, these people are moving on with their life. And even though she was not willing to admit that the reason that she was not moving on with her life was the drugs that she was imbibing.
The raging addiction, maybe.
The raging addiction, yeah. She so she actually began on a quest of like, how do I get inseminated as quickly as possible? Because, and this is her theory was that if she got pregnant and she had a kid, that would help her fix herself. She'd be motivated to fix herself.
Yeah, that doesn't seem very desirable.
Obviously, it didn't happen.
No.
Like, it didn't work.
Surprise, surprise.
Right. Like, that never works.
No, that is not the answer to your problems there. I mean,
that is correct.
Man, I mean, to be fair, there are any number of people who, have a child and become responsible, but oh man, what a completely unhealthy outlook on everything she has about everything.
Yep.
Wow.
Well,
well, that's not good. Huh. Well, anyway, moving.
Yep. Well, the point is that, like, you watch these people and they do a ton of fucking damage to everybody, not just themselves, but to everybody around them. And so maybe, just maybe, lock these people away from the general society and everything will get better.
I mean, you can, like...
Well,
come up with a federal or state halfway house system.
We had asylums. A lot of the buildings are still there. Maybe we can...
I'm just saying, that's the comparison I'm making here, is asylums gave people a place with a roof over their head, a place where they can get medicated and therapy properly, and a place where they can go to and from so that they could be productive members of society and integrate into it in general. Like, the whole thing where the prison reform was under Trump, getting people back into society with a job, the idea that, you've been punished, you served your time, you've repaid your debts to society, and if you've repaid all of that, you can get into the program and get into a working job and support yourself and become a productive participant in society in general. Like that, to complete the rehabilitation side of things. Like that kind of has, there needs to be some of that. And if it needs to have a stage to it where, there's some more structure imposed upon you by where you live, maybe that's better than just flushing people back out and skipping the part where we want them to be actually rehabilitated.
Yeah, might be nice to
there's work
things.
in prison. There's work in prison. Maybe there should be like a transition work to out of prison to help people who elect into it, not make it mandatory necessarily. Like, if you get early parole, maybe make it part of that. Certainly, the part where we're going back to what you were saying earlier about prosecuting DAs and judges who are in dereliction of duty. Like, that's got to be part of it. Like, again, what's the highest count so far? 72, something like that. Previous times that someone's been arrested for this, like, the same fucking thing, and then just let go by the DA or let go by a judge.
Well, let's be honest here. The highest reported number is it's either 72 or 73, and there's very possibly higher
just
numbers out there.
Insane to me. Like, if it was 10 times, like, that was already nuts. Like, earlier in the year, we were all flabbergasted. How could this happen after they were arrested 13 times? It's gonna hit 3 digits. It's so stupid. Like, these are people who have had to have been arrested, 3-4 times a year, every year.
Yeah, I mean, there was a story from just 3 days ago from, this some woman was raped to death on church steps by a Somali guy, 16 prior charges for sexual battery.
But why was he let out?
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
the reason. Why was he let out? Because he just doesn't know the culture. He's trying to learn the culture here.
Yeah,
That motherfucker, he figured it
cannot
out.
go the way
Well,
of Great
and
Britain.
this is the fundamental problem that you run into, is that this idea of like lack of cultural understanding. I would argue that if you think that rape is okay, that's cultural incompatibility.
Yeah, it's beyond misunderstandings. It's like
not a
we can't speak
misunderstanding.
the same language to each other.
Well, it used to be
That's a
ignorance of the law was no
philosophical
excuse,
difference.
right?
Yeah.
Well, again, it used to be ignorance of the law was not an excuse. Suddenly, it became an excuse for some people.
Yep.
Like that should that's and the thing is, the worst part is it's been made into such a conspiracy theory kind of bullshit. Like they're all fucking Soros funded DAs. It's like this guy needs to have the influence he has in this country stripped away, and it's like because again it's not that he's paying them now, it's that he funded the campaigns that got them put in. That's part of it. Getting those names on the short list, getting them into the campaign, into the race, that kind of thing. Getting them nominated for a position to be approved later by the state level legislature or the federal legislature. So all the judges that got put in because of his money, all the DAs who got put in because of his money, state governors. This shit, like the thing is, and this is what people have said before as just common wisdom, but he figured it out too as an investment capitalist in that sense. Local has more impact, as it should, but local has immediate and pressing impact. Your local judge is who you're going to see if you get arrested. You're not necessarily going to go to D.C. to see a federal judge. Or to your district courts. Like, it's one of those things where that needs to be something Americans figure out again. We kind of figured it out under Biden in the midterms. You saw the governor proportion flip. Like, this is kind of critical shit, man.
Yeah, a little bit.
So we're gonna have, I don't know how many decades of this fallout from letting that motherfucker meddle in our politics so much. I mean, it's really one of the, like, you can understand why Hungary got rid of him. That got rid of the fucking Nazi.
I mean, he's banned in Russia too.
Out of our country.
He should be banned in every Western nation and every Eastern nation. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing him relegated to Antarctica.
You know what? I was just thinking of what that fucking naval pier off the coast of England, but I don't even want him to go there. Sealand. He should be banned from Sealand too.
Yeah, no, I don't even. There's not even a place for you, George, on Mother Base. You're just gonna have to go somewhere else, buddy. Oh, but in some, because it's getting a little late, don't want to keep you guys too long. So let's roll out a couple of bits of interesting and good news. We have the potential next governor of Minnesota, Mike Lindell, has just filed to run, and
that's going to be a funny campaign.
It'll be a fun campaign. I love those pillows, man.
It's funny. My mom and dad got some of his pillows. My older brother got some of his pillows. He, for some reason, likes them, which is fine. My parents just hated them.
Huh.
And I looked at
personally, I really like the purple pillow. I love the purple pillow.
They got the shredded bamboo foam type of pillow. The comfort kind of pillow, and it's just like, that's just not comfortable, period, for most people. I don't know how that became like a common product. Like it's common at hotels too.
I don't know. I really like mine.
My brother swears by his. I can't stand those kind of pillows.
Yeah, it's done real well for me, and I have like I can get a sore neck, so it does really well for me, quite literally. And in other,
I'm a fan of purple.
Fair, but
I stopped buying cheap ass, shitty ass pillows
that's a very good idea. Just by
it's
by and large.
Buy once, cry once on the important things: pillows, underwear, toilet paper. Buy the stuff that's comfortable. Life is too short for uncomfortable underwear. Same thing goes, pillows, sheets.
If you wear underwear, what kind of pussy wears underwear? Go commando. Be a man. Yes?
I'd rather have an extra layer of protection if I'm working around dangerous shit. Having a cock and ball is kind of, it gets a little uncomfortable if you get hot plastic on it.
I've not managed to do
You're
that.
You're going to get that extra tenth of a second away from burns. I'd have that extra tenth of a second to avoid burns if I can.
Well, I've pretty much always managed to maintain coverage, so I haven't had any molten substances land on my junk.
Well, I told you that story when my buddy Jen and I were pulling apart an extruder, and it had stall pressure behind the flange. And when we were loosening it up, the sound of a gunshot went off, and suddenly there was a 3-inch rim of plastic around the outside of the flange. Like, that shit happens fast. I'd rather have as thin a layer of protection as it is. I'd rather have that ability to pull it off instead of pull parts of me off.
Pussies.
Shut up! You work in an office.
Yeah, like a real person. Where do you work? Craig?
Where did I work? Oh, I worked in a lab.
No, I didn't ask where you did work. I'm asking where you do work. Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Well, anyway, look, my gun gets sweaty enough. I need at least an extra waistband in there. So, sorry, it's just the way it is. I can't have that thing rusting out.
Commando because he's sitting in an office chair.
Yeah, the only commando I'm going is like Arnold and just packing an extra pistol. So that's the way it is for old Evan. But I unfortunately work the most dangerous job in America. So what are you gonna
outside?
Do? Oh no, food delivery.
I was joking. I just said outside.
Oh yes, but yeah, specifically food delivery. I really wish that weren't the most dangerous job in America. That is so ridiculous.
Fucking wild.
Yeah.
I'm sure that it's a regional thing. I'm hoping you're in one of the safer areas.
Oh yeah, I've only had to pull my gun twice, so probably so.
Okay. Good.
Anyway.
I remember my little brother first getting his holster.
Well, okay, to be fair, actually, I've only had to draw it once. The other time, I was able to just make the guy go away by being quite clear that I was just about to draw on him. So, anyway, yeah, we're in good news mode, not weird bad news mode. So,
I think being armed is good news.
Well, that we can, and that.
Well,
hey,
America, fuck off, bitches.
Well, in either situation, nobody had to get hurt, and everybody walked away instead of anyone getting hurt or getting dead. So, there's that. Anyway, I've got a really cool update in the field that I love to cover, and that is in age science. So we've got, let me see what the date on this paper is. I don't have it exactly. Very recent, though. But a collagen amino acid composition supplement is reducing biological age in humans and increasing health and lifespan in vivo. They've seen an average...
just people eating protein.
Yeah. But...
just want to let people know, that's all the fancy words there boil down to eat your meat.
Oh, sure. But...
you can't have any pudding if you don't eat your meat.
Sure. But this is like these specific collagens and amino acids, that being glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline in a 3:1:1 ratio, produces a consistent measurable benefit across women, worms, mice, and human, not women. In skin, wrinkles, texture, elasticity, hydration, a 4 to 6% improvement in 1 to 3 months. In an average reduction of biological age by 1.4 years after 6 months, with a maximum reduction detected.
How's that being measured? Just out of my curiosity here, biological age, how is that being established?
You'd have to look over the article Nature thing to get the specifics of it.
All right.
But that will be included. As a matter of fact, give me 1 second here. I'll just grab the nature.
By the way, yes, I did print that, and yes, we do see it, and yes, it is funny.
All right. Huh. Well, there you go. So yeah, there's the Nature article, but I'll include that as well. Actually, in the links below, that'll be one of the last ones.
And I am gonna find the other one, which says just inside.
Oh, fair enough. But anyway, this is some interesting stuff, and it's exactly the kind of thing that I like to follow because age tech and age science is just a very, very fascinating field for me, and worthwhile. So,
well, it's nice when we had what's his name on.
Aubrey de Grey. I very, very much hope that we can get him in for a follow-up on his mouse studies because that sounded incredibly fascinating. And I have no doubt that he was able to find some very interesting things. I can only imagine what kind of results he's able to get with with the AI integration he was just starting to do, just to kind of come up with combos and everything with everything that's been fed into some of the models now. I can only imagine the kind of data he's got access to. Definitely got to get that guy back in. That is the hope. That is the hope. Anyway, we've got another one here, and that is something that we've talked about on numerous occasions as just kind of a pie in the sky deal. Cafe is gone. Goodbye. You can build an S10 again. You can build a Ford Ranger, a real one. If Toyota felt so inclined, they could build a U.S. market Hilux tomorrow.
Thanks, bro.
Exactly. Good timing, brother. That was perfect. But yeah, the CAFE standards are gone, and the CAFE standards are basically what have made American trucks. It has been this sliding scale of, well, if you're going to have this fuel economy, it's got to be this big. Okay. So it has to be at least this big. Got it. Oh, and next year it has to be bigger? Got it. Oh, and bigger the year after that? Got it. So immediately, there's been a couple of announcements that I think some foreign automakers, and I imagine probably GM, since they do sell them overseas, are going to start working on getting some of their K cars approved for importation. And this will actually...
K cars.
Yes.
Bringing back memories, Red Green Show, man.
Good stuff. And not Reliance, not Dodge K cars. Come on now.
Oh man, it was just the punchline of every episode of the vehicle.
Oh, that's a Dodge K car is a very different breed of K car. Very different indeed. Oh my.
Remember my dad got suckered into getting a Dodge Ram conversion van. Awesome vehicle in general, but like the things we had to do to keep that sucker running when I was growing up, like that was just. I'll say this: it was probably a world better than an RV would have been. Because again, RV stands for Ruins Vacations.
Yeah, they could be very pricey. They can be very pricey, and things can go wrong.
I see. Also, some people are finally doing the push on the Fourth Amendment, the meaning behind it again. And lucky for us, we of course have the writings of the people who made it happen. That it did not mean for every single person who was born here to be a citizen. Specifically, like people born to foreign diplomats or to people who are visiting the country and then leaving.
Oh yeah, considering the author of the amendment was infinitely clear in his words how it was meant to function.
Specifically, that those cases are to not be involved, and then magically the courts decided afterwards, oh no, but they are.
Oh, that's not what he meant. No, I mean those were his literal words, but that's not what he meant.
Like the courts should interpret the law, yes. When the person who wrote the law specifically says what it's for and how it should be used, In my opinion, maybe just put it in the law next time.
Now, speaking of the
if
law,
there's specifics, don't leave it up to the judge. You know what I mean?
Oh, speaking of the law and needing a defib.
Talk to a 5-year-old toddler. That's the level of law we need.
Well, actually, man, Steve just gave us the perfect segue here. Because talking about the law, talking about needing defibs, you'll remember we reported on that Sacramento deputy who had, what was it? He either took it or stole the fent from or meth or something from one of the people that he pulled over earlier in the day, and went and smoked it at the sheriff's office when he got back to work, and ended up overdosing and everything. Right. That guy, that was back 2023.
Why would you do that though? That's like, hey, the guy just died for this shit. I should try it. What?
Yeah. Well, update, and it's not a good one at all.
Oh, okay.
He stabbed his 11-year-old son and then led police on a high-speed chase and died in a shootout.
Oh, just that. Okay.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'll throw a link to a quick thread on that. So there's the opposite of a happy ending to that one. Terribly. But, I mean, it's the resolution of the story, I guess. So, let me see here. In what would ostensibly be happy news, LA is going to be introducing rent caps. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha.
So
y'all don't even know what rent rates are. You don't even know.
I get the pressing need to be right all the time, but do there need to be so many opportunities to say, I told you so?
Right? Yeah, that's...
Well,
I know I had to plan in advance, but come on. We know this one already.
The problem with all this stuff, all this social intervention stuff, the government's got to do this thing, is the people who propose this, they don't understand why things cost as much as they do in the first place, right? So their solution is the government should make it not be so, and they're ignoring the fact that there's reasons why it is. And there's two parts to this. Part of it is what people are earning, and the other part is the restrictions that we have on building. Well, actually, there's three parts. One is what people are earning. The other is the restrictions we have on building. And the third, and it's kind of a weird one, is that people are not pushing outward or expanding to less populated regions. That's why costs are as high as they are.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because there's the ideal of the 15-minute city that I keep hearing about, which is just hilarious. Because it's an Orwellian conception. Not that everything could be within 15 minutes of walking distance. That would be awesome. But the fact that you have to plan top-down governance to get there.
Yeah.
Instead of having a natural incentive for it to happen.
Yep.
Yeah, and central party rulership has a bit of a track record, you might say.
Well, it's not as much that. When you start talking about the 15-minute cities, it's not 15 minutes drive by car. It's 15 minutes by walking, essentially. Right. And when you start talking about what does that mean in terms of real capacity, that's everything within your city has to be located, because you're only walking about 1 to 2 miles an hour. That means, let's assume that we're looking at the 2 miles an hour just to be generous. The size of the entire city is going to be something on the order of half a mile.
Again, with those 15-minute cities, their assumption is that they're able to do A, high-density housing, and B, high-density commerce integrated into the housing.
Right.
And it also kind of relies on a high-trust society, too.
It's like if the bottom of the apartment building is a mall, and the bottom of the apartment building across the street is a food gallery, Like, yeah, I understand that. But, like, there's more shit to do in the city that's important. And the thought that you're going to be able to basically like section off an idealized version of this, and then plop down a whole bunch of them of those idealized segments right next to each other and call that a city. Like that's not how humans operate to start with. You'd have to impose limits on where you could go. Otherwise, everyone's going to find the good food court, and you're going to have food deserts in other places for the same stupid reasons we have them now.
Yep.
And I'm sure it would 100% be called racist in that sense too, which is just hilarious.
But the coffee is so delicious, Craig.
Oh yeah, you said that fucking. Oh god, Piers Morgan with his fucking I love curry. I love my tandoori.
So good, so good.
Oh, the cultural enrichment.
So I've got another one here. Good news, bad news. Now this is kind of been known, but it's I guess coming to prominence again. People are talking about this with tattoos, this, that, and the other. But we have a full-on study finally kind of reaching the forefront that yes, we've always known tattoos fade. Well, where does it go? It doesn't disappear. It goes to your lymph system. And, can become cancerous. It's generally not good for you. Yes. So, avoid tattoos. They can actually, in the long run, really, they can theoretically mess you up. System. They do very much. Now, with that said...
When you can't digest it, it doesn't go away.
Well, now, with that being said, Japan, being awesome, as they always are, have developed a product called kurosumi, and these are pigments that are individual, like the particles are individually encapsulated in a medical grade silicone, and they so far are showing basically no migration. Now, this is a very new product. I think it's maybe not more than 4 years old. But it looks like there might actually be some medically safe tattoo inks out there. So
that one would be questionable to me because at that size scale, you're still dealing with the ability for your immune system to mobilize it effectively.
Oh no, there's a new type of ink that's
No, that's what I'm saying is
no, they're larger particles.
It's okay.
They've made a larger particle ink.
How large are the particles, though? Because your body will mobilize things like a splinter as well over time.
Oh yeah, of course. It doesn't. I don't have
macroscopic stuff. Your body can still move.
Well, I'm going to be completely honest with you here. I haven't gotten the.
I don't know. There's no cancer
specifics. It's going to be bigger than 500 nanometers. So
bigger than half a micron.
Yeah. The Reach ones are using 200 to 400 nanometer particles.
Okay.
As opposed to the ones that are usually less than 100. So, there you go.
Okay.
And they're showing within 12 to 24 months, very minimal. Oh, no, sorry. That's the silicon ones. The silicon ones are showing no migration. The large particle ones are showing a 30 to 70% reduction in migration. So, if you're going to get a tattoo... you're going to want to look at one of the REACH-compliant organic pigments or one of these silicon encapsulated ones out of Japan. Or just hold off a little longer because all of this is real new. And, maybe...
Here's the alternative. Use henna because then you can have a new tattoo every month.
Yeah, true. And that said, actually, there are disappearing tattoos. That those are actually quite literally safe because the UV.
I used to get those all the time when I was younger.
No, not temporary tattoos. No, actual real tattoos that are temporary. They use an ink that is it doesn't sublimate. It I think it explodes in the simplest of terms in UV, just over time. So it'll fade after. I think they fade within 6 months, so they don't actually have a chance to.
It degrades in UV. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, just another little thing. So I do a little side quest of a story I was interested in. So to close us out for the night, we've got some very, very interesting movement on nationwide concealed carry reciprocity. There's a bill going through right now that, of course, would standardize all of that state to state. So if you've got your concealed carry license in Kentucky, you can drive to New York City or to LA, or say you've got one of those super rare ones out of LA that's not honored fucking in most of California, even in some places. You could travel across California, go to Nevada, travel cross country, drive down to Florida with your concealed weapon, you'd be fine. Or let's say you're in one of the 29 states that has constitutional carry. Well, your license is your carry permit. And since that's your carry permit, well, that's your carry permit. And since that's the law where you're from, that's the law. So if this one goes through, it's going to be really cool. So anyone in those 29 states and any of the others that are on the board or on the edge of going through with a constitutional carry, well, if this happens, the law of the land is the law of the land from whence you hail. So my brother down there, don't they have they've got a basic constitutional carry, don't they?
In Florida?
Yeah.
You have constitutional carry in Florida.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I do not need a license to handle a firearm, to shoot a firearm, to walk around with a firearm, possess it. I think that there's still the whole
you got
FFL,
some you got some open
but
carry issues, but concealed carry is pretty much all good, right?
concealed carry is concealed carry. It's constitutional carry. Open carry, I don't know if
I don't think they've
flat
I still
out
don't think they've got
constitutional or not.
that entirely
I know that
fixed.
there are certain counties where they basically encourage you to carry it however the fuck you want and to shoot people who are trying to shoot you.
Indeed.
I think you know exactly the kind of counties I'm talking about, and God bless that sheriff. If you come here and try to fuck around, we will shoot you graveyard dead. It's like, God damn, man, say it louder.
So basically, here we are. If this goes through, and as it stands, the bill that would just flat out legalized based on your current locality, that's got 189 supporters.
Well, the Commerce Clause says that we have contract parity across states.
Right.
State lines aren't going to
So
prevent your license.
even
your
outside
driver's
of
license
this,
says that.
if it gets up to SCOTUS, it's a pretty reasonable case to win.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Not only do you have a whole fucking Second Amendment behind you.
Plus we have Bruin now.
Mm-hmm. As if we needed it, but there
Right.
it is.
But, I mean, that makes things very clear. Very clear indeed.
29 is greater than 25, I hear. Just saying. It's going to be another number soon. Hopefully it'll be a lot bigger.
Could be. Very well could be. And as it stands, just as a statement of fact, that's a plurality of states.
As I was saying. It's not a plurality, it's a majority. 29?
Yep. And the number is
25.
kind of set to grow. So we're in a pretty good place for that one.
Getting there. Pretty good it'll be when everyone has constitutional carry, because I don't think any American should ever be without their amendment rights. Sorry, without their constitutional rights.
And I could be wrong, but I have a feeling that might just have a knock-on effect of making everything a little bit nicer everywhere.
Yeah.
For no reason, overnight, magically. Somehow, everything just got a little bit better when everybody
Minnesota.
who could have done whatever they wanted to you the day before now has to think, oh, wait, I could get shot if I do something bad to someone. Perhaps today...
Not even like...
Maybe today isn't the day to wear my jogging boots and go
'Cause you'll
check
notice
out
that-
the housing project that's being built.
You'll notice that a rapist isn't typically afraid of a boyfriend.
No.
But if a rapist can get shot by the woman,
oh, we actually have a story about that just recently out of Europe, involving an Italian guy and his girlfriend. They were so unafraid that they held him down and made him watch. So yeah.
Yeah, what's that?
So yeah, it's an armed society is a polite society. If for no other reason than that people just don't want to get shot. And hey, if that's what it takes, and we can just do a couple of generations of, hey, I don't want to get shot, people will just start just doing it. And not being worried so much about the not getting shot, because that's just the way you handle yourself. And that's how it used to fucking be. So I'd say, might be a direction to pursue. But with that, I've got out most of there's a shitload more we can go over, obviously, but we can't do 4-hour shows. We already do 3-hour shows. So was there anything else either of you fellas were wanting to hit before we call it a night?
I think we're about at the night mark, so.
Fair enough. Well, then we will call it there. Of course, that's my buddy Craig. You can find him at CraigBob99. Previously speaking, our master of nuclear technologies, Mr. Steve. You can find him at...
that is such a better title than his job title.
Right? Anyway, you can find him at Ratman720.
What? Do you know what my job title is?
That's where it comes in. No, I was fishing.
Johnny Important.
I am engineer of radiological work.
That's a pretty good title.
Senior engineer of radiological work.
Much fancier.
Master of nuclear technologies. That could
likely to be principal by April or so.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, nuclear ultimate
principal will be a nice belt.
Technical supervisor.
Yeah, principal is a nice belt notch. It's kind of strange though.
Yeah.
Like you get to a point where you kind of realize what the difference is between. So like when you're in the beginner, intermediate, and advanced stage of engineer, you don't really understand what the difference is between like the upper levels, the seniors, and the principals. And then you get to be like senior, and you're still like, well, what's the difference between me and a principal? And then you get to a point where you're like, yeah, I can understand why who's who in the zoo is where that ranking is. It's not about what you know. In fact, what you know matters very little at all. It's about how you can communicate. That matters a lot more than what you know.
Yeah, one of those running a team kind of deals.
Bring Briggs down.
Right. Yeah. Oh, if only we didn't have literally multiple examples of that. But anyway, we're trying to end on a high note, so let's do that. So, with that, you can find Craig at CraigBob99. You can... A high note, not a collapsed note. You can find Steve at Ratman720. I'm Evan. You can find me at That Fake Guy Dan, and everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure. Talk to you again real soon.